Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by Cachefly. CACHEFLY.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Radio Networks on Sunday, April 21st, 2013. This is episode 972. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom's not a law firm. LegalZoom provides self-help services at your direction, such as affordable business and personal documents you can trust. Visit LegalZoom.com and use the offer code TechGuy to get $10 off at checkout. And by Stamps.com. Use Stamps.com to buy and print U.S. postage the instant you need it right from your desk. For our special offer, visit Stamps.com, click the microphone, and enter Tech Guy. And by Hover.com. Hover is the reliable domain name registration and management service that's simple, honest, and easy to use. For exceptional customer support and 10% off your new domain name, go to hover.com/techguy and use the offer code TechGuy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy, and it's time to talk about computers and the internet, cell phones and camcorders, MP3 players and home theater, and all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number, 888-827-5536, toll free from anywhere in the U.S. If you're outside the U.S., well, I'd love to hear from you. All you got to do is call the phone number via Skype, 8888 Ask Leo, 888-827-5536. Today I have so much to talk about. I don't know where to begin. There's lots to say. We'll start off, I guess, with talk. Let me fix this camera. The camera one is messed. It's set wrong. It's routed improperly. I'm sorry I have to say that out loud. Now we'll fix it. Thank you. You might wonder, why do you have cameras on a radio show? I don't know. To save this for posterity. The same reason there's cameras everywhere in the U.S. We were talking about this yesterday. Although, I've been watching the Sunday morning news shows, and it appears to be one of the reasons that they caught the marathon bombers and they figured out who they were so quickly is that there were cameras on every corner in that area, not to mention lots of people taking photographs. And it wasn't too hard for them. Must have been hard. They say one analyst rewound the videotape 400 times looking for something suspicious. And, of course, they saw two gentlemen. I shouldn't call them gentlemen. Two fellas walk up with backpacks and leave with backpacks. And then, of course, it was good they were wearing the hats. But we were talking yesterday, and it's an interesting discussion. They had an interesting article on Slate. Said, let's put more cameras in. Not fewer. Because these are public places, and it's useful. Lots of privacy advocates say, wait a minute. Another interesting thing is that no face recognition was used. The face recognition software couldn't do anything. So they used it. I shouldn't say they didn't use it. They used it. Nothing happened. They had millions of images, I'm sure, at least thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of images. Ran face recognition software against it and got no matches, despite the fact that both folks were in the Massachusetts DMV database, their pictures. And, of course, the older brother had been under investigation. The FBI had pictures of him. So it was just plain old police work. In the end, looking at those tapes over and over, that they figured out who it was. Then there's a lot of discussion. I saw it last night on CBS. Interview with my friend Lance Ulanoff, the editor-in-chief at Mashable, about the social media impact of this and the fact that Reddit created a subreddit, a special area of the Reddit forum, to analyze photos and try to track down who it was. And they came up with some wrong names, which they corrected quickly. The police said, we wish people wouldn't do that. In the long run, the reason the younger brother was caught was pretty simple. a fellow looked out his window and said, "Hey, something's wrong," and checked. That was in the bottom line. That was all it took. It's it's an interesting story, and there certainly is a tech angle to it, but we'll move on from that. But I'd love to know what your opinion is on this privacy issue. More cameras, fewer cameras. Good, bad. Certainly makes it easier to track, right? But then it also makes it easier for things like the IRS to figure out where you've been going, what you've been doing. I don't know. I don't know. Is that a bad thing? IRS says we can read your mail without a warrant, read your email without a warrant. So I would imagine they'd want to see those cameras too, if it would help them. Let's talk about other things. I have the new HTC One phone in my little hand. And despite the fact that it has some flaws, it is without a doubt the most beautiful, most functional phone I've ever used. This morning, I used it as a television remote control, as a universal remote, smart remote, which you could touch a TV show and it'll figure out where it is and turn it on. Wow, whoa! That's the phone. I've been using the Zoe feature of the phone, which does an interesting thing. It starts taking pictures even before you press the snap button. But when you do press the snap button, it saves those images plus 3 more seconds. It saves it as 20 images on your phone and as a video. You could take still images from it or the video. Then it has some interesting software they call Best Smile. Let's say you have a picture of 4 people, and in one frame, one's smiling, another frame, another's smiling, and so on. You can tap their faces. It recognizes the faces. That's easy to do. And then say, I want this frame with this one smiling. I want this frame with this one's eyes are open and smiling. You can make a composite image in seconds with everybody smiling and their eyes open. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. This is a gorgeous phone. It's made out of solid aluminum. It's as beautiful as the iPhone 5, maybe even more so. I like the camera. They made some waves because they decided to do a 4-megapixel camera, and everyone else is going to 13. But their rationale, and it's some people think this will be hard to explain. I think you'll understand. Their rationale is fewer dots on the sensor mean we can make the dots bigger, so they're better with low light. So, and all you really need is 4 megapixels is plenty for the web and even for 5x7 prints. You might see some softness in larger prints, but that's how many people do 8x10 prints from their phone? I don't think so. And for posting on Facebook or the web, it looks great. You can see many of my images on both my Google Plus page and on Facebook. In fact, I put a Zoe up on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Leo G. Laporte, and that's public. You can see that Zoe. They make a highlight reel of all the events of the day, and they mix music in with it. It's all very automatic. I didn't modify it in any way. It's kind of amazing. That's the pros. The cons on this phone, unfortunately, and this happens to me all the time. When you get a phone you really like, you use it a lot, right? And I can kill this thing in a couple hours. There's no replaceable battery. It's sealed in just like an iPhone. So I'm plugging it in every chance I get. And it does need a little more power than a lot of phones. It needs a 5-watt adapter. That's 5 volts times 1 amp. But you probably have a few of those. It's half what the iPad needs. You just have to be careful. It won't charge very fast with anything less. And presumably it'll charge a little faster with something more. We'll have to try that out. And you will want to charge it. In fact, I even bought a couple of external batteries that I can use to carry around and charge it. There are some other little weirdnesses. It's got the buttons placement is odd if you're used to Android. If you're not, it won't bother you at all. They don't light up all the time. I think they'll be able to fix that in firmware. Sometimes they're just not lit, which means you can't see them, but you know where they are. And I've unfortunately scratched the glass already. I don't know if it's as tough as some of the other glass fronts of, say, other phones. But I'll just be a little more careful with it from now on. I don't even know how I scratched the glass, but I did within a day. So that's the HTC One. Boy, highly recommended. I'll be getting a Galaxy S4 in the next couple of weeks. This HTC One is the AT&T version. I'll get the T-Mobile version of the Galaxy S4, let you know. And that may get better battery life for a simple reason. I think one of the reasons that I'm getting poor battery life on this thing is that I'm kind of in a marginal 4G LTE area, so that I can see it cycling back and forth all the time, saying, I said LTE, I can't tell. And that probably uses a lot more battery. It's seeking a lot, trying to find a signal. If you're in a metro area with strong AT&T signals, you probably wouldn't see the same kind of battery drain. That might make a big difference. Boy, what a gorgeous screen, though. I mean, the screen is what... If you can go to a store that has an HTC One, just to look at the screen, I'm at 4.7 inches. It's 1920 across by 1080 horizontal. Well, it depends how you've tilted it. The narrow one, 1920 by 1080. That's better than a lot of computers. Good enough to show full HD movies. It looks rock solid. It's an incredible screen. It's one of the reasons battery probably dies. I'm looking at it a lot. 8888 Ask Leo. Let's talk. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, Stan, where are you from? Hey, what's that a picture of? Celebrating, yeah. Oh, that's great. So Northeastern is pretty close to where all this was happening, right?
Yeah, we were.
Wow. You must have really been a big deal for you.
Oh, yeah, so.
There is I'm going to send you a link to a great article. Time-consuming, expensive to fly. Yeah. I'm sorry you're not there. I bet you'd like to be there right now. A little scary, huh? Let me show you the article. Yeah, probably a lot of people not from... it's from the Gloucester Times or something. I bookmarked it because it's hysterical. It's basically why you don't want to screw with Boston.
It's simple to launch or join a meeting anywhere using your computer, your smartphone, your tablet. You can even present from your iPad. You gotta love that.
Yeah, let me see if I can find this. It was on their WordPress blog. It's hysterical. Basically, the point is, okay, there's two kinds of people in Boston. Really smart people who are already figuring out new ways of torturing this kid. And then really angry, tough Southie types who just want to beat the crap out of him. You don't want to get both of them mad at you. It was very, very funny. Very, very funny. I'll see if I can find it for you. I thought I bookmarked it. I guess not. Our show today brought to you by the good folks at LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom is not a law firm. No, they're better. Well, they're not as expensive, and they're going to get your job done. If there's a lot of legal work that you do right now that you don't need a full-time lawyer for. Things like a will. Do you have a will? Well, you better. If you have kids, if you've got property, you don't want the courts to decide where that goes. Do you have a business? Have you incorporated or an LLC? That's how we did our LLC 8 years ago now, more than 8 years. Wow. And it's still, those are the incorporation documents we still use. LegalZoom.com, it was $99. $99 to form an LLC or incorporate your business at LegalZoom.com. And it's so easy. You go there and you go through a checklist and boom, it's done. And they give you everything you need for the state that you're in. Now, sometimes questions will come up. This is something new. They didn't have this when I did it, and I love this. For instance, I was saying, where should I incorporate? In my home state or Delaware? Some people said Delaware. Some people said here. I thought, well, if I could ask somebody. I just guessed. I made it Delaware. However, I could have, and if you do it now, you can speak to an actual attorney through their legal plan with preset affordable rates. You can get your questions answered, get ongoing advice. They've got profiles of every attorney plus unedited reviews so you can decide who you like. LegalZoom is amazing. Wills, living trusts. Oh, trademarks. Don't forget trademarks, copyrights, NDAs, patents. They can do all of that. And it's really, those are the things that you look at and you go, I should just do this myself. You can. But make sure you do it right with LegalZoom.com. They've been around about 12 years. Over 2 million Americans have used LegalZoom for wills, trusts, trademarks, and more. So easy to use. I want you to try it out. And when you do, can I ask you a favor? Enter the offer code TECHGUY, one word, in the referral box. You'll get $10 off. It's just our way of thanking you and encouraging you to let them know where you heard it. TECHGUY, the offer code to get $10 off at LegalZoom.com. Really great. It's stuff like this that empowers the little guy to start a business and get going. Look what happened to me. I got all swole up. I got 25 employees. It could happen to you. Thank you. But they do bring you salad, which is nice. Thank you, John. We don't pay John enough, I'm afraid.
look for both high color brightness.
Hey, I know. I saw Patrick. Patrick Delahanty pulled up. Is the show actually on today? Which show? This show? Yes. This show is on today. This Week in YouTube? Yes, it's on at 2. This Week in Tech? Yes, it's on at 3. All the shows are on today. Glasta. And, oh, yeah, and I have calls, it looks like. Now, they say it was dropping out periodically. So I don't, and when it drops out, Nathan, I'm going to lose the text, I guess. I've got call screening. We'll see how long it works. Because apparently, while the engineer was able to get it working the whole time, overnight, it stayed up. It's been dropping out on us. So, unfortunately, if it drops out, you're going to have to refresh the whole thing because the text will go away. How do I turn off, chat room, how do I turn off LTE on this phone? I haven't been able to find a way to do it. I would love to do that. Because I think HSPA Plus would be fine here, and I bet you'd make a big difference. But I can't figure out a way. By the way, notice I replaced the HTC Sense front page widget, which I'm not crazy about. I'm using Nova Launcher. It's in the, I don't see it in the network settings, but I'll show you. Maybe you can help me, okay? More. Usage, VPN, mobile network sharing, NFC. It's not in there. That's in the wireless and networks. Settings, more settings. Yeah, no, it's not there. AT&T may have disabled that. Mobile data is on. Obviously, I don't want to turn. This is all usage. Limit mobile data usage. Alert me about data usage. Reset data usage. This is all usage. There's minutes. There's messages. That's a usage thing, huh? I think you can't turn it off on this phone, which is a shame. Okay, remember that XDA and a lot of the battery reviews are European models. They're not the same model. Yeah, it's not in here. So what you see, and this is why people are saying, Leo, you're an idiot. How could you be having trouble with battery life? The reviews we're seeing are not the same unit that you will be getting on AT&T and perhaps on others. The European one does not support LTE, and almost all those battery reviews were of that. I would love to find a way to turn off 4G because I don't care about it. See, I'm down at 53%. That's with charging constantly already. Fully charged at 7 a.m. Do you remember? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Oh, rats. I just lost my link to server, Nathan. This is one of those days. But I know Cameron is on the line, on line 3 in Central Port, Oregon. So let's take Cameron, and you'll just have to manage the calls for me, Nathan. Hi, Cameron. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, Cameron. Hello?
Should be there.
Hello?
Hey, Cameron. You didn't think I'd get you on so fast, did you?
Sorry.
That's okay. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Just having some trouble with my hard drive. At least I think it's my hard drive. It's a Western Digital 2 terabyte, and I want it to be my main drive now. And I left on a trip down to Los Angeles for 2 years, and I just got back, and no one's touched it. But I tried to install XP, my home edition, on it, and it came up with a blue screen and an error message. I fixed that, but it turns out it was my edition of XP, etc. And so now I'm installing Vista, and it'll check file system and everything, and then it'll go to the Microsoft copyright symbol, and then about 3 or 4 seconds after that, it'll just go to a black screen. And I've left it on overnight, and it just stays on a black
I understand why XP was having a problem, because if you didn't have Service Pack 1 on XP, probably you didn't. You probably had the original version. It wouldn't handle the 2 terabyte drive. Would say, I don't know what that is. Boy, that's huge. But now you move to Vista. Vista has no problems with 2 terabyte drives.
Yeah, but I'm still having a problem with the installation of it.
Yeah, I understand. So when you ran the when you said you moved to Vista, you obviously were able to see Vista, right? Or
no.
I see. You booted the Vista install disk.
I booted from the Vista disk, and like I said, it checks.
And it doesn't see the rest. It doesn't see the drive. It says I don't see a drive to install on. Right or no?
it sees the drive in my BIOS, but when I plug it into my other computer, it doesn't read it, and all the SATAs work good as well. So
Does it see it as a 2 terabyte drive?
yeah, it's 2 terabytes.
Okay, that's in BIOS.
Yeah, in BIOS it reads it, but on my other computer, when I plug it in to the SATA, it doesn't read a secondary drive. So.
Well, that may be because the other computer doesn't handle 2 terabytes. See, the problem is 2 terabytes in older hardware. In the good old days, hard drives were a little bit smaller. I remember getting my first 2 gigabyte drive, and it was too big for Windows 98 to see, so we had to partition it into 2 1 gigabyte drives. Gigabyte! Now you're putting 2,000 gigabyte drives in there. My suspicion is that XP isn't going to do it unless you have at least Service Pack 1, probably Service Pack 2, just for reliability issues. You also may have trouble with the controller that you're using. May not be able to see it. So the BIOS is the basic input-output system. That's the little bit of software that runs before the operating system even. You know, when it says press F2 to enter setup or delete or escape to enter setup, that's running something called the BIOS. It's a very small piece of, it's really an operating system, but a tiny little operating system sitting on firmware in the computer. Now, if that says it sees 2 terabytes, it may and may not. It may just be reporting what the text that comes off the drive. I'm a Western Digital 2 terabyte drive, not understanding what that even means because it's a dumb little box of rocks. So I think you probably are having trouble with the size. And
go out by Windows 7.
No, because if Vista should work, but the problem is not Vista. Then it's the physical hardware. The controller may not be able to see it. So I think your issue really is the older hardware is not going to see those larger drives. And if you can't see it, you can't even partition it, split it up as we used to do. See if there's a BIOS update for the motherboard you're using. And then check the specs for the controller on the motherboard to see if it can actually handle that larger drive. Tony in Los Angeles, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, Tony!
Yes.
Sup?
Hello.
Hello, my friend.
Oh, we live now.
Yeah.
Happy Sunday.
Yeah.
And,
I think people are just waking up. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do for you?
Hey, first I want to say your mother is an amazing guest yesterday. It was wonderful to have her.
So not everybody knows about this, but after the radio show, you know, we have a podcast. It's not even a podcast. Streaming video, a television station on the internet only, which you can watch this show. But then this continues on, and after the radio show yesterday, my mom, who's visiting from Cranston, Rhode Island, went on the air and told stories about me. And I thought I just turned the speaker off. I didn't want to listen. But I'll tell her you enjoyed it. She told stories about me, didn't she?
Oh, yeah. She did.
Dear.
Wonderful.
Oh, I love my mom, and she's 80 years old. She's kind of a test bed for me too, because we're she's fairly literate. I mean, she's not computer illiterate. She's certainly not afraid of them. She has an iPad. She has a laptop. She's had Windows machines. She's had Mac machines. But what I'm doing is very interesting. She's never had a smartphone, so I gave her my old Galaxy Note 2. And then, as if that weren't enough, and by the way, she's doing great with it. She loves it because she's an artist. She's pulled out the sketch pen and she started drawing with it, and she loves that. But now we're moving her to LastPass. It's my position that everyone should use LastPass to keep track of their passwords so they can make good, long, strong passwords and only have to remember the one. That gets you into the vault. LastPass is free and beautiful and excellent. It works on the Note, works on Mac, works on Windows, works on everything. But it is a little, it's a little complicated because it doesn't always do exactly what it's it doesn't always work right. You can always get it to work, but it depends on the site. So she's learning it. She's doing great. She had a document on her desktop called passwords.doc.
Uh-oh.
So we're slowly putting that all into a LastPass, and I said, then we're going to erase it, so do it right. She's great. Anyway, thank you. I'll pass along the kind words, Tony. What can I do for you?
So my son wants to learn website design.
Great.
And we're a little unsure about a certain basic questions here. I know we have to purchase a domain name.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to.
All right.
I'll tell you, the minimum is just go somewhere like Blogger, or Blogger is probably not a good choice. You need somewhere where you can modify the design.
Right.
WordPress.com is free. Pardon me?
He wants to kind of start from scratch.
Okay.
And really build it himself.
Good. I like that. Is he going to use a content manager? How old is he?
15.
Perfect age to do this. This is your retirement plan, right, Tony?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, this couldn't be a better age, especially if he's interested. You want to support this. So, from scratch can mean several things.
Okay.
A website from scratch is a computer, a server. You can either have it in your house if for simple stuff and you don't want to, make the public come in and see it, or you can rent one from a hosting company. Right. The basic server is just a PC. Usually it's running Linux or something, some form of Unix, usually Linux. Then if he really wants to start from scratch, so what he'll get is a computer with nothing on it. First install Linux, then install a web server, and then put some software on there. I'll tell you what, hang on, let's talk about this. Do it yourself. Can I explain how to set up a web server in 5 minutes? This will be the challenge. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, XAMPP is probably the best thing to
do. Looks like you have control again?
Yeah, so I think what's going to happen is this is going to drop out periodically. And when it comes back, I have control again. Even if I can't see the caller, I'll know where I am and I can put him on hold and stuff. So you won't have to worry about that. But you will every time I come. Apparently you can tell when I come back. I don't know because the text came back.
Yeah, it shows up that you're connected.
Okay. So at that point, you'll need to refresh the text. I wish there were just one button you could push that says refresh.
Yeah, we'll do that, and then we have the Google chat as a backup.
Yeah, and I have that. And that's coming in on my watch, which is kind of cool. My watch buzzes and the callers come in on the watch because I just got this Pebble watch, which I love, by the way. And so my calls come, the little text comes in on the watch. I can play songs. This is wild. Yeah. So the watch is tied to the phone, and the phone is on Google Talk. So I guess I will. I'll keep it open, just in case. Yeah, I'll review. Have we not reviewed the Pebble On Before You Buy? If we haven't, I will review it. I'll also review the HTC One. Yeah, that's the way to do it, XAMPP, and you could do that locally very simply. The other thing I love is the lock screen on this thing. There are a variety of different choices for the lock screen, but I have it showing photos from my photo album. I actually am enjoying HTC Sense to a certain degree. I did take off. I did change. I don't like the. I put a different launcher on it. And what do they call it? The blink. Is it blink feed? Whatever it is. That doesn't have a widget. It's just kind of their launcher. So I didn't find it that useful because it's so long. It's a buy if you can live with the battery problem. That's the buy. I'm a big fan of Nova Launcher. You like Launcher 8? I'll try it. Ah, the dialer. Okay, let's see if that works. That's going to be tricky. I'm not sure I want to do that. Should I really do that? Should I trust you? Maybe I should look up that string. Yeah, it's like an electric car. See, I have 55%. So it was 100% charged at 7 a.m. I've used it quite a bit, but I've also been plugging it in. I plugged it in while I took a shower to its own charger, which is a 5-watt charger. It's plugged in now. It's just the and I think turning off LTE would probably fix that. You can't change the APN. So as far as I could tell, AT&T has really locked it down. So here's more. There's usage, VPN, mobile network sharing, and NFC. There is no network setting in the settings. Obviously AT&T doesn't want you messing with that. Yeah, the screen timeout's pretty short, but I could make it shorter. I have the brightness auto. Sleep is auto sleep. I could make it shorter. Make it 15 seconds, although I find that very annoying. And then I also have power saving mode. I'm not in the normal power mode. I'm in the power saving mode. So the whole thing is. I was talking with Tony. I want to support Tony because he's doing a great thing. His son, 15 years old, says, "Dad, I want to be a web developer." So Tony says, "Great, we're going to set you up." Does he have a Mac or a PC, Tony? Are you there? Hello, Tony. Are you?
Hello.
There we are. I guess I didn't press the button. Mac or PC, Tony?
He has a PC, Leo.
Okay. So the fundamental thing is he's going to set up a computer with Apache, which is the web server. I would recommend learn. This is called the LAMP stack, and it's the open source standard stack. He may end up developing on Microsoft's web server or some other web server, but this is 90% of all web servers are using LAMP stacks. That's LAMP, Linux, which is the operating system, Apache, which is the web server, MySQL, which is a database. You need a database, and I'll explain why in a second, and PHP, which is the programming language. That's what they call it. Now, there's a very easy way to set up a LAMP stack on his PC right now so that he can design a website. It would only be visible internally, but that's fine.
Yeah.
And it's called XAMPP from Apache Friends. And what it is it's just a simple installer. It's so cool that you run, and it will then put Apache, MySQL, PHP, and Perl even on a Windows machine. And you have simple buttons that'll turn the web server on and show you the address, and then mom and dad and you can surf from any computer in the house. And this is a good way to start. So just point him to Google XAMPP from Apache Friends, or go to apachefriends.org. They've made this incredibly simple. It has everything on it you need. It's not just LAMP. It's everything. Perl, PHP MyAdmin, Webalizer, which is an analytics program, Mail, Mercury Mail. It has FileZilla for FTP. It has everything. If he learns the technologies in here, this kid could get a job right now.
Okay, perfect.
So that's what I'd suggest. This is free. He's already got a computer. He'll do it on his computer. When he gets ready to have a public website, then you might go to a hosting company, get a domain name and all that stuff. And it may be that he needs that as motivation, like so he can show his friends. And if that's the case, then perhaps that would be the way to go. That will be spending money. But really, the skills that he's going to need are all in here. If he can, and he can use everything: JavaScript, CSS, everything. Right.
Yeah, you just gave me the answer that I needed, because when I conducted the quick, basic research online about this, it kept directing me to GoDaddy. And,
don't do that. I mean, that's when he wants a public site. Then you're going to go to a host, and you're going to get a machine, and et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But I don't think you need to do that. I think the best way to do that, frankly, is to...
These are the steps that I was missing, that I was looking for, so I appreciate your help.
My pleasure. Anytime. I appreciate the call. XAMPP. It's really simple. I've used it myself. It's available on Windows, but also you can run it on a Linux box. You can run it on OS 10. I've run it on OS 10. The next thing would be for him to either put Linux on his Windows machine or get a new machine and just run Linux on it, because he should really learn how that works as well. There's a job called sysadmin, and that's the person that manages a web server. So there's a number of jobs when it comes to a website. Quite a few. There's the softer jobs, which are the designer, the graphics designer, the content creators, the writers, and then there's the harder jobs. And by soft and hard, I mean I probably shouldn't even use that. It's more like software and hardware. The engineering jobs. There's a sysadmin who runs the Linux server, locks it down, keeps it running, administers the logins, and permissions and so forth. There's a programmer who will be writing code, whether it's PHP, Perl, Python, JavaScript. Then some of the designers may actually do HTML and CSS. CSS is kind of the more geeky part of the design process, where you take a picture, an image, the way you want it to look, and you turn it into numbers, letters and numbers that the web server can read. All of this is great. Lou MM, who is a Microsoft employee, I might add, says, "Oh, Leo, lamp stacks, old school. You should look at Nginx and Varnish and, well, yeah, down the road." Down the road. Apache has been, in fact, we use both Apache and Nginx. Nginx is a fast production server. Down the road, he can learn production servers. Varnish is a program you run on top of the Nginx server to cache. You don't need to know that yet. He's saying, don't learn MySQL, learn NoSQL or Mongo, or maybe PostgreSQL. I'd agree with you on that. In fact, XAMPP will install Postgres instead of MySQL. And I agree with him also. Don't learn PHP. But you know what? If you want a job, you're going to need PHP and Java. You really are. The point really is mostly if he learns and understands the concepts of this stuff, the rest will become easy. That's a great project for a 15-year-old. Really a good time to do that. Douglas, Paris, California. Hi, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Douglas.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm well.
I have a Dell computer that's got Windows Vista on it, and I've been wanting to change to Windows 7 or Windows 8. And primarily what I use the computer for is I do a lot of music recording, and I use Audacity quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And moving files back and forth and stuff. Vista seems to be such a pain. And really, I'm really computer illiterate, so it makes it that much more difficult.
You're not that illiterate. You're using a computer to do music. That's
because I have a basic understanding of recording because I used to use a lot of analog equipment.
This is very typical. A lot of people don't know the underpinnings of the technology, but they can use a word processor, a spreadsheet, music programs. These are the tools they use. You don't have to know how to build a house to use a hammer.
True. Yeah, true enough. And I've heard that Windows 7. I've heard both sides. People saying Windows 7 is better than Windows 8. Windows 8 is better than Windows 7. And where my wife works, she uses a CAD/CAM program for the sheriff's department, and they're installing, they're updating their computers, and their tech guy is having them put in Windows 7 as opposed to Windows 8.
Yeah, a lot of tech guys with lowercase t really hate Windows 8. And in business, it's probably the case you don't want to put in Windows 8 because you'd have to retrain people because Windows 8 is so different from Windows 7. However, it is the current version of Windows. It is improved over Windows 7. Those CAD programs probably, I can't imagine why they wouldn't work fine with Windows 8. Windows 8 to a program looks much like Windows 7. I agree. I think Windows 8 is horrendous. I think that Microsoft is forcing people to move into the future. And for them, what they've decided is the future is touch tablet-style computing. So it's this weird mongrel, half tablet, half desktop. And your wife and everybody who's used to Windows 7 is used to a desktop-only environment. So now, what I've done, because I need to use Windows 8, is I've taken Windows 8 and I've made it more desktop-y by running a couple of programs that turn the start menu back on and eliminate the modern UI, the Metro UI. And then it's just like Windows 7. It's probably better to get Windows 8. Only, first of all, it's going to be hard to find Windows 7.
Well, actually, I've
hang on a second. We got to take a break. We'll finish this up on the other side. This is a big question for a lot of people. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, I agree. The present probably is isn't real Windows 8 friendly, but the future's coming. And if you're buying a new computer, you want to buy a computer that's in the future or will be future-proofed. So, yeah, it's funny. I did not expect to like the Pebble. I really thought I would hate this thing because I've used other Android-attached or iPhone-attached watches, and they were hard to set up, hard to use, not very functional. This is really well done. It was very easy to set up. Couldn't have been easier to set up. Functionality is very limited. I mean, it's not going to change the world. You have a bunch of different clock faces, which I like. Some really fun ones, and there's third-party ones you can download. I like as a watch, and then it's great when people send me text messages. They show up on the face. A call comes in, it shows the caller, and the watch vibrates. So, I don't think it's needed, but it's kind of handy. And so, for instance, we're sending me via Google Talk call screening updates. They were showing up on my watch, which is funny. Hosted at home, I would start with this. This is from Black Magic Designs. This is a really nice dual monitor. It's fair. I think it's $600. How much is what do they call this monitor, John, and how much is it? What do they call this monitor and how much is it? Mark, what is it? Smart View Duo, and it's about 500? 800. So it's a little pricey. And then they have bigger screens. So I was thinking, John, that we should have a microphone for Heather. I keep wanting to call her Hannah for Heather. And some way that I could put it up here. It needs to be on this board.
Yeah, we're running out of faders.
Yeah, we are. Instead of line in, I don't have to have line in. What is this? Tell 1, tell 2.
That's phone calls.
Oh, I need that. Obviously.
Yeah.
So I'll need I'll need my Mac, line in Skype, TriCaster I need only if I'm playing back video. I do this the least probably.
Yeah.
Playing video from the
And in a
TriCaster.
pinch, you can load.
I could swap it. Yeah. Yeah. And then, can I use this as talkback? Or I can't. Is there a way to talkback, or like press and hold was talkback or something like that? I guess I could just talk to her. She's listening, right?
But you may want to talk to her off mic.
Right. So if I want to talk to her off mic,
I'll figure out this way.
I think on the other board, pressing and holding on the big Axia was a talkback.
Yeah, but I would expect the display to change.
Yeah, so it's not doing that on there.
Wait, check this out.
There it is.
It's a soft button.
Talk. Okay. So it needs to mute my mic and pass it into her headphones.
Okay.
And then, I mean, this may be too complicated for next Saturday, so I should be able to talk to her, and she should be able to talk to me without going on the air. But I should also, and I will often have her up because I want her to be really a part of the show. So we're also going to run out of switcher inputs, I realize. So we're going to have one camera this way, but I'd like to have a close-up camera for her too, like that we could see her.
Yeah, eight is not enough.
1, 2, 3. I don't need the. I guess that's my Mac. Over the shoulder. I don't need 5. Actually, you know what? I don't need 7. That's nice, but I don't need it. So you can make. But we're going to need 2. So 5. I guess 5 and 7. That's all right, because 7's going to be ambience. Will take the place of 5.
Right.
That'll be the ambiance. And then 7 will be her instead of the big room. That should work.
Live read is Carbonite.
Thank you.
Like from behind the camera.
Well, let's look at some sets possibilities this week.
Okay.
It should be. We want to see her.
All right. So we can have 2 cameras in here. One is
And one closer up.
close up.
Except for the glass. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. If you have a question, a comment, a suggestion, let's talk. Douglas is in Paris, California, with a kind of a fundamental question we get every show now. He's using Windows Vista. He's ready to upgrade. Should he go to Windows 7 or Windows 8? Now, you're going to upgrade on your existing hardware, Douglas?
Well, I haven't done anything to the computer.
So if you're buying a new computer, you're probably going to have to get Windows 8. And I think with a new computer, if you get a touch screen, especially, Windows 8 is not too bad. On an old computer, I would not recommend going to Windows 8. You really do want to go to Windows 7. Touch is important for Windows 8.
Oh, okay.
If you do get a new computer with a touch screen and she's having trouble or the Metro interface is annoying, which I find it, then write down stardock.com. They sell two little utilities, $5 each, that I put on my Windows 8 machine that just made me breathe a sigh of relief. One is called Start 8 that brings back the Start menu. There's no Start menu on Windows 8. And this is the #1 place people are confused. Because that's how they did everything. On Windows 7, even Vista, you click the Start menu, you pick something from the menu, and you do it, right? Well, on Windows 8, there is no Start menu. There's a Start screen now, and it's a little annoying.
Oh.
So
okay,
that'll fix it.
I know I can still purchase Windows 7, but I don't know if I were to get that, I don't know which one to get. I don't know.
You're going to get, there are a few, there is Microsoft, and I can put a link in the show notes, has a comparison page where it talks about the different versions of Windows 7. This is another thing Microsoft did, stupid thing that they did, is they have like 8 different versions of Windows 7. But for most people, Windows 7 Home is fine.
Oh, Windows 7 Home?
I'll get Home Premium. That's fine.
Home Premium.
You don't need the business version. There's a few features that you won't get, but you won't need. I don't think you need Ultimate. So Windows 7 Home Premium is fine.
Oh, cool. Very cool. And now is it...
and by the way, if you're getting a new computer, well, the other question is 32 or 64-bit version. And if you have 4 gigs or less on this computer and you don't plan to upgrade the RAM, get the 32-bit. It'll be most compatible with your existing setup.
Okay. How would I know? Because I printed out...
it'll say in the purchase. Yeah, it'll say in the purchase. And actually, I think it comes with both on the disk, and then it's going to be, which one do I install?
Okay. And so less than 4 gig, get the 32.
Yeah, because the only real reason you need 64-bit versions of Windows is for more memory. Windows 7 Home Premium is probably the one you want. It has the right set of features for you.
Okay.
And I believe that disc comes with both 32 and 64-bit versions.
Okay.
But install the 32 unless you need more memory.
Okay. Is it a hard install or?
No, it's easy. It'll overwrite. What it'll say is, I see you have a version of Windows installed already. You say, yeah, kill it. By the way, since you have Vista, get the upgrade. That's a lot cheaper than the full version.
Oh, the Windows 7 upgrade?
Upgrade, not because you're upgrading from Vista.
Oh, I thought they were like two completely separate things.
They are, but the upgrade is to upgrade from Vista to Windows 7.
Oh, okay. There we go.
So you are upgrading, yeah.
Oh, okay. Very, very cool.
And that does come with 32 and 64-bit on the disk. It should be pretty easy for you.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Leo.
You're welcome, Douglas. Yeah, this is a tough challenge for everybody. I mean, you want to be where the future is, right? You want to be. You don't want to buy a 5-year-old operating system, which is what Windows 7 is. On the other hand, it can be a little challenging to figure out how to use Windows 8. And I've talked a little bit about the things that bug me. The thing that I think the bottom line on Windows 8 is it's a hybrid operating system. It is both a tablet touch operating system and glued on top of a desktop operating system. And it can't decide which it wants to be. And worse, you've got versions of applications for both. So there's 2 versions of Internet Explorer, a tablet version and a desktop version. That's mighty confusing to me. Somebody said, oh, Leo, just face it, you're old. I may have been doing this for a long time, but I don't think I've lost any marbles yet. 8888, ask Leo. I know I'm not alone. Let me go to, I think it's line 1. What's your name? Hi, this
Steve.
is Steve. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Oh, so Leo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you for something, and I also have two questions. I had the Norton 360 installed on a PC, and it was always causing me trouble. It was running slow. Sometimes it would freeze, and I'd have to install it. And then, anyway, I removed it totally a couple weeks ago and put in the ESAT NOD 32 antivirus 6. It's just been running so great.
It's kind of like night and day, isn't it?
Oh, I love it. I want to thank you for that.
There's a video somewhere of me stomping a box of Norton 360. That was some years ago, but my opinion hasn't changed much.
I'm so, I don't know why I kept that so long. But anyway, I'll tell you what my two questions are. The first one, I have both a PC and a Mac. And on the Mac, for the last week or so, when you go into Firefox to go on the Internet, a lot of times you get a message appearing on the screen. It says, well, this is embarrassing. Firefox is having trouble recovering your windows and tabs.
Yeah.
This is usually...
I love it that they say it's embarrassing. I get that all the time, too. The idea of Firefox is that when you launch it, it's supposed to reopen the windows you had opened the last time. Mm-hmm. Do you want it to do that?
No.
Okay, go into your settings and uncheck that. There's a setting for that. And you won't see the this is embarrassing anymore.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay. And then my other question, either with the Mac or the PC, I have this unprotected DVD that I wanted to capture some of the images and put into a PowerPoint presentation. And, I can't do it. It doesn't seem to, neither system lets me do it. Is there something?
Okay, there's a screen capture on both Windows and Mac.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work for PowerPoint. I know that.
Oh, it's not capturing. So you're saying, okay, and you have a PowerPoint image. You want to get that image out of PowerPoint and save it.
I mean, I'm sorry. It won't work on the DVD. I'm showing the DVD, and I can.
Oh yeah, it doesn't do that for piracy reasons.
Okay.
Because the motion picture industry is deathly afraid you'll steal a frame.
Even though it's an unprotected.
It doesn't matter because what it is the DVD programs block it. It's also the way the DVD program is working. So you might be able to disable this. In the older video cards couldn't handle displaying a DVD in real time. So what they did is they created a video throughput mode where the video is just blasted onto the screen. There's no processing involved. So they called that video acceleration. So look in your properties for your video card. There'll be a checkbox. If you turn off, disable video acceleration, you may be able to get those frame grabs. You certainly be able to get them from the operating system. Okay? So, pressing print screen or, Command Shift 3, you should be able to get them. The reason you're getting a blue screen or a black screen when you do that now is because it's not on the screen. It's being blasted onto the screen. There's also a program called VLC, which will do this. Doesn't worry. The VLC is made by people who don't care about Hollywood. And so they allow it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So print screen won't work if video acceleration is turned on, because the video card is not actually holding a image in this frame buffer. Our show today brought to you by our friends at Stamps.com. I do not want to go to the post office. You do not want to go to the post office. If you're in a business, all that time spent to and froing, parking, waiting in line is just time wasted when you could print your own stamps on demand. Why do it? In fact, you don't even have to bring in packages because the mail carrier comes and picks it up. You could schedule free pickups. The key here is Stamps.com. I have been a Stamps.com user for 10 years now. I'll confess, I started using Stamps.com because they let me put my own picture on my stamps. Okay, it was a little ego thing. But now I have a business. I wouldn't dream of anything else. Stamps.com is so fantastic. You print right on the envelope. So you can have your company logo or your picture. You can have your return address automatically printed for you. You can even pull the recipient's address from your address book, from QuickBooks if you use that. If you sell on Amazon or eBay or PayPal, same thing, Etsy. Pull it right from the website. International mail, no problem. It fills out the forms for you. This is like pro mailing. If you're sending a priority mail or express mail, it'll send an email to the recipient with a tracking number. You've seen this before. You've seen people use this kind of system before. It's fantastic. It saves you money. It saves you time, and it is really kind of cool. By the way, when I don't have Stamps.com at home. We have business account. It's not a home thing. It's for businesses. But when I need stamps, what do? I come in here and Frederick prints some out for me. I love that. She printed out some forever stamps. I just, hey, Frederick, print me out a sheet of stamps. Stamps.com for any class of mail, media mail, first class, priority, domestic or international. It couldn't be easier, and we have such a good offer. This is an amazing deal. Go to Stamps.com right now. Do not take the $80 front page thing. Click the radio microphone in the upper right-hand corner and use our offer code TECHGUY, 2 words, TECHGUY, and we've got a $110 bonus offer for you. It's $55 in free postage. You can use that in the first few months of your account. The digital scale, we love this, a USB scale that just, you plop the letter on there and it prints out the right postage. $5 supply kit, 4-week trial, Stamps.com. Stamps.com uses the offer code TECHGUY, and I think you'll like it. I really do. Pro mailing tip.
Premier Radio Network. I've observed something. It's not only what we do at work, but it's how we do it.
So it's gone down. So here's what's happening, Nathan. It goes down.
It's got to be ongoing.
Every
collaborative
20 minutes, it goes down.
Colleagues and
It does not
too.
break
And it's
the
not just at the office, it's
VL,
on
the
That's why I use
VPN.
ShareFile. Yeah. ShareFile helps you
VPN
do
continues. Well, I have a VPN connection. Yes, the VPN is needed.
Citrix. Seamlessly
Whoa, I didn't know
integrates
that.
your
Okay, so I don't need the
data
VPN.
where you are, from
Well, let me
any
close the
mobile device.
VPN.
With ShareFile files of almost any size.
Okay.
Secure links.
So I will exit VPN. I thought I needed VPN. Okay. So it's just going out via IP. So
plus you could set up shared folders.
if I restart then that means the program's crashing.
ShareFile.
Probably.
I love this thing. It's going to change the
We
way
should
you work.
reinstall the
And I've got a
call screening
30-day
software.
free trial offer just for you. No obligation. You'll see the difference right away.
Yeah.
Visit sharefile.com.
I bet you it's just a
click the
bad
microphone
install.
At the top of the page, and enter my name, Leo. ShareFile.
No, all
Click
the
that link
yeah,
to
the
radio
I have
listeners.
control again,
Type in
but
my
he has to
name.
he has to type he has to
30 days
refresh. He
free
has to type
to
the
go.
period thing. It's such crap software. This software is from 2001. I wonder if Telos has an updated.
We are certainly using newer software out here.
Yeah, because this is for a 2101
You're tuned to Premier
system.
Channel 7.
Telos 2101. We're using the VX now.
We'll begin at 6 minutes past the hour. From Premier Radio Network.
I would guess. Well, maybe who knows what's going on. If his worked at his house, the engineer, I bet he wasn't using the same version. I bet he was using some other. I doubt. I mean, where would he even get a version of Assistant Producer 3.5? That's the current version? Really? It's copyright 2001.
Tuned to Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, will begin at 6 minutes.
Let's
past
see what
the hour. From Premier Radio
Assistant
Network.
Producer Telos Broadcast Studio Equipment. Yeah. Version 3.5.4 is the current version. And we've got 3.5.17. So there is a newer version. You want to update? Let's not. Let's not and say we did. Yeah, this is for the 2x12 and the Series 2101. We're using a 2x12.
Leo Laporte, the
So
tech guy, will begin at 6 minutes past the hour.
there is a newer version. I wonder if I bet you he's using the newer version. I wonder if that's the difference. Let me down. You know what? I can download the newer. But would it overwrite this?
I was sent a version this week from Joe Talbot.
Of this software?
Yeah, I think it is.
Well, let's install it. What could possibly go wrong?
Let's do it. No, let's not.
This is
Let's do it
Premier
after the
Channel
show.
7. Leo Laporte, the tech
Hey,
guy,
Hank
will
Van
begin
Ness
at
just sent
6
me
minutes
something.
past the hour. From Premier Radio Network.
I love this watch. Oh, it's Hank Van Ness's birthday. So that I guarantee you that's. Well, I don't guarantee you, but I mean that could very well be the problem. It's just that he was using a different version, a more up-to-date version. This was installed in 2007. Oh, have you updated it?
You're tuned to Premier Channel 7. Leo
Oh,
Laporte,
okay.
the tech guy, will begin at 6
Oh, yeah.
from Premier Radio Network.
Yeah, it looks exactly the same. This is such horrible software. Look how much I can get. 3 words. I can't wait till
You're
Heather's
tuned to
here.
Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, will begin at 6 minutes past the hour.
Not that nothing wrong with you guys in Sherman Oaks. It'd just be nice not to have to do this crazy.
No, but I totally understand. It's frustrating here as well. Very frustrating.
Because you're probably tired of hitting period and return. Yeah, let's see what's at the market. By the way, we want to welcome Luke Wilson into the studio today. No, Luke Wisdom.
Will begin at 6 minutes past the hour.
And Michael Presley. Michelle. Michael. Not such a good speller. Okay. Nice to meet you guys. Where are you from? Oh, great. On vacation? And he's visiting you. Got it. Well, welcome. And where are you from? Colorado. Great. What's your name? Stan. Hi, Stan. Oh, wait a minute. He sent me. You're a DJ.
Well, yeah, 14 years on.
This is Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte.
Smart man. You got out of the radio business. I was too stupid to get out. I got my third ticket in 1976.
Yeah, that's back when you had to take a test.
Yeah.
I got mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah, third class.
I want you to get a first. You need to get a first now.
Element 9.
Yeah, Element 9. That's right. Boy, you have good memory. Jeez.
1, 2, and 9 or something.
You're tuned to Premier Channel
But you-
7. Leo Laporte.
Oh, yeah.
the
Let's see
tech
what's
guy,
for
will begin
lunch.
at 6 minutes past
April
the hour.
21st. That's
From
today.
Premier
Wow, they're
Radio
really on it. Same chili, same soups, it looks like. I will have a... why don't I do a salad? I have to start working on this. As soon as Mom leaves, I'm going back to the gym, going back on my diet. So let's start. Let's start right now. Dr. Mom said no more bacon. Did you see my bacon video? I think I actually...
You're tuned to Premier
my
Channel
Slanina video. It looks great. I think I rickrolled, though, everybody on Facebook because they said, Leo, we thought this was a video about bacon. And there's no bacon involved. Let me go to my... I don't even know how to use Facebook anymore. It's a great mystery to me. So they thought, oh, this is a bacon movie. It is. This is created automatically by the HTC One. I didn't modify it at all, including the music. Here comes John. This is all from... These are basically all the images I shot yesterday, mashed up into a Zoe. Is that cool? You can choose different themes, but because that's the... And by the way, I guess that's the first frame of the thing. So what it does is it takes... the Zoe is one of the camera... There's two camera options for stills. There's still and Zoe. There's also movies, but the Zoe is a camera option. I don't know if I can show you. It's hard for you to see. This is as zoomed as it gets, right? By the way, I've charged it all the way up to 62%. It took a whole hour to get 8%. They got to work on the battery. That's good. That's good. Now focus. That you can see. Good. I'll need this for demoing. So in the imaging, you've got two choices. You've got regular camera, normal. Whoops. Oops, that was a mistake. I saved a video. Or you've got the Zoe mode. And what the Zoe mode does is really weird because it still looks like a still, but it takes 3 seconds to fill it up. And it takes some of the time from like just where it was sitting. So it's always recording and it just gets a couple of seconds. And it shows you in the Zoe, if you look at it, it shows you where it started right there, that yellow line where this started. Anything before that, it was taking before you pressed shoot. And then it takes the rest. Now, you could take any of these 20 frames as a still, but when you do the mashup, it takes the video and the stills. It's really weird, but it actually, once you get it, it's very cool. I only shoot Zoe's because I want to have, gives you many choices, right? Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We're talking computers and the internet. We're talking cell phones. We're talking home theater, digital photography, and all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S., outside the U.S. Use Skype and give me a ring. I'd love to hear from you anytime. Jeff in Rancho Palos Verdes is next. Hi, Jeff. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Yo, Leo.
Yo, yo, yo.
Long-time listener.
Thank you.
Caller.
I love that. Welcome.
Yeah. I can almost listen every Sunday when I'm working on the house.
Beauty.
I had two questions for you. One is I have an iPhone 5, and I want to stream my music to my stereo. I have a Sony NFC GS7 internet player with Google TV.
Right.
And it's running Avia.
So there's two ways to do this. One is using Apple's own technology, AirPlay. But you need an AirPlay receiver hooked up to your TV, and my guess is none of the things you just mentioned do that.
Right.
So
Actually, it does work, except the music plays at about 1/3 speed.
what are you picking it up with? Does the Google TV have an AirPlay receiver?
Avia, A-V-I-A.
That's a program?
Yeah, it's an Android program.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that. Okay.
I can stream movies from my Android tablet to the Sony. With that. Music from my Android tablet to that.
But it doesn't work quite as can you stream video or movies from your iPhone? From your iPhone?
No, not from the iPhone.
Okay. So I'm guessing it's probably a DNLA program.
Yeah, DLNA.
Yeah. So Apple's AirPlay is a specialized DLNA.
The app on the iPhone is Media Connect.
Oh, I see. All right.
A colon in between.
Yeah. See, Avia is a DLNA device, so you do need something on your iPhone. Is your iPhone jailbroken?
No.
All right, that's interesting. So Media Connect apparently is doing something to make it possible. You can't see movies.
It finds the Sony player. It connects to the Sony player, and it plays the music. It's just at about 1/3 speed.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at this. So Media Connect is a DLNA and a UPnP media streaming program. So it's the DLNA is the industry open standard that everything supports. AirPlay is an Apple proprietary version of that.
Right.
And so I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, I'm not sure why it's not playing it at a proper speed. But Apple would say, well, it would if you would just use your technology. I don't know why you're using so, there are other programs perhaps that'll do that. Beatmaster in our chat room says Plug Player.
Plug Player?
Yeah, is that for Yeah, that's for iOS. You might try another one. DLNA is a clever idea, but it's unfortunately implemented in a variety of bizarre. It stands for Digital Living Network Alliance. And it's you could tell from the name, it's an industry group, not a technology. And the industry group defined a technology so that, phones and other devices could play to stereos and TVs. It's a way of moving media from one device, wirelessly from one device to another using your Wi-Fi. Media Connect, Beatmaster says, is from a Lufa TV, which is a European TV company. The one actually Apple was rumored to be buying, and so it mostly works best with their stuff. So it may be that's why it's not working quite well with the Sony.
Well, I sent them an email, but they haven't answered yet.
Yeah.
So.
There's also AirPlay It.
I think
I would take a look at my experience is the best way to do this is to have an Apple TV or an Airport Express hooked up to the TV, and it's going to sound great. There's another way to do it. The Sonos devices will do this. And Sonos is designed, and I know I talk about Sonos all the time. They are not a sponsor. I get no money from them. In fact, they get a lot of money from me because I keep buying their gear. You could hook up a Sonos bridge, a Sonos Connect device to your stereo system, and then put the Sonos software on your iPhone, and it would play the content on your iPhone. It has another nice feature, which is it can play also TuneIn Internet Radio, Spotify, Pandora, a whole variety of other internet sources through your stereo system. So I use Sonos. I really am very happy with it. The negative is it's expensive. It's expensive.
I'll look at that. Of course, I can always use a cable, but
the Sonos, the way I have the Sonos, I have it connected via an optical cable to my AV receiver, and the device I have, you need to connect that device to the internet so that it can get the internet radio. So that device I have is the Sonos. I want to say Bridge. No, maybe no, it's the Sonos Connect, because that's what connects to both your router and to your stereo, and that is not cheap. $350. An airport would be airport would be $99. Airport Express, the Apple TV be $99. On the other hand, this gives you a lot more capability, and you can expand it because now you can put speakers in the bedroom and play music from your iPhone in the bedroom too.
There we go. Yeah, because this is sort of combined with my other question, which is we're going to become full-time RVers.
Oh, how fun.
And so it would be used on the RV also, perhaps. But the big question there is, while we're driving around in the RV, what would be used for a hotspot or a card?
Yeah, well, the good news is that the wireless 3G and 4G networks are getting better and better and more widespread, and that's probably the best way to do it. Look at where you're going to be going and find out who's the best in that area. Not everybody is everywhere. I wouldn't go with Sprint or T-Mobile. I'd probably go with AT&T or Verizon. Verizon seems to have very good carriage in the big cities. AT&T, I'm told over and over again by PC Magazine and others, has the fastest speeds, and I think it's pretty well everywhere. So you'll get an AT&T, what they call a MiFi. They may have other names for it as well, but the MiFi looks like a credit card. It picks up internet through the air, through 3G or 4G LTE, and then is a Wi-Fi access spot. So anything with Wi-Fi, your phone, your laptop, in many cases your TV or your stereo, can get internet access through that. That's going to be the best way to do it. When you get to a stop, you can use DirecTV's satellite, or there's satellite internet, but it won't work as you're driving along. So what you're looking for is something that I presume that you can use while you're driving along, and that's going to be a 3G or 4G network from one of the wireless companies. And you're just going to have to figure out which is best, Verizon or AT&T. And remember, there are two issues with this. First of all, it's a little more expensive, about $60 a month. It's going to be bandwidth limited, depending on how many other people are sharing that connection. Although in many cases, LTE is faster than my home internet, so that may not be an issue. And the final and more important part is there are almost always bandwidth caps on these connections. And the bandwidth cap may mean that after a while, you only get 3 gigabytes a month. You're not going to be able to use it full time. But it is the solution for RVers, I think. It really is the way to go. Hey, that's fun. Have a nice trip. You're going to have a great time. Let's go to line 3. Nathan, who's on line 3?
Mike.
Hi, Mike. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, thank you. A friend of mine, her computer will not boot up. She's running Windows Vista 32-bit on a compact for stereo, and it seems that the problem happened right after a Windows update was pushed to her machine. And the computer does boot up with a Linux Live Boot CD.
Oh, that's good. That means the hardware is okay.
Yeah, and
except for the hard drive. So I would look at the hard drive. It could be coincidental, but it sounds like a failing hard drive. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, yeah. Phone number 8888 Ask Leo. Website techguylabs.com. Chat room's available there. I'm on Twitter at Leo Laporte, LeoLaporte. And on Facebook too, Leo G. Laporte. And you can follow me in both places. Twitter is more just, I don't know what it is. Silly stuff. Somebody asked me, do I have to join Twitter? And I said, no, you don't. But it's fun. I mean, if you like it, it's cool. But there's no, I would say there's no compulsion. Facebook, maybe there's a little compulsion, right? Because your family and friends say, well, why aren't you on Facebook? I want to see pictures. I want to know what you're up to. And I think there is some kind of compulsion from your family and friends. But Twitter, nobody says, why aren't you on Twitter? I want to see your tweets. No. I want to know what you're having for lunch. No, nobody says that. 8888 Ask Leo. At Leo Laporte. Tech Guy Labs. I think that's everything. If you now have everything you need to reach me. Carlton in Knoxville, Tennessee. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Carlton.
Hello.
Hello.
I have a question. I currently have a Note 2, a Note 8, and a Note 10.1.
How do you like the Note 8? That just came out.
Well, so far I don't like it as well as I do the other two. But what my question is, I'm an Apple person. I have my music in iTunes and on my Mac computers. Is there a legal, reasonably easy way to get the music from iTunes into any of those devices?
There is.
Or all of them?
There is. It's called Double Twist. It's free. Double Twist. If you're hooking it up, Double Twist works just like iTunes. It'll copy your playlists. It'll copy your songs, all of that stuff. But Double Twist also has a Wi-Fi capability to sync over the, just like iTunes now has, to sync over the Wi-Fi, but that's $5 additional. That's called Air Twist. Love it. I use it all the time. Just got my new Android phone. That's one of the programs the base install is Double Twist is one of the base install items.
Okay, so how would I do that then?
It works just like iTunes. You put it on your Mac or PC. You put it on, if you want wired sync, that's all you have to do. It'll automatically treat your notes just as if they are iPods or iPhones. If you want wireless, you have to put Air Twist on the devices. And then there's some, you have to enter a code into the desktop. It's just like iTunes. It's exactly like iTunes.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Okay, so
except there's no store. But that's fine. You don't care about that. No.
So the music I've got in the cloud, this would only work for music I have downloaded.
That's right. It sees music on your hard drive. You'd have to use iTunes to download your cloud stuff, your iCloud stuff first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You're welcome, Carlton. Now that's the next $64,000 question is, well, what about it storing stuff in the cloud? And this is what I've decided to do. For free, Google will let you store. Is it 25,000 songs? Some huge number, more than I've got, in the cloud, and then access it on your Android device using Google Music. So that's a good start. And they also have a store. Amazon does the same thing. If you buy a lot of music at the Amazon store, it might be better to have the Amazon MP3 on your smartphone and do that. Neither of these work quite as well on iPhones, but they do have apps for the iPhone, but they're really designed for Android. So what I did, and I put the little, both companies have little software that you run on your computer that automatically, Google now does the matching. So if it sees a song that it's in its store that you've purchased it, it will automatically have it there. Amazon does the same thing, or it will upload it. It's great cloud storage. I don't have to worry. I used to worry about losing my music. Apple was always saying this. Oh, back up your music, because if you delete it, it's as if you threw your records out. It's gone. But it's my experience that Apple would give it back to you if you ask nicely. However, it's a better feeling to have it backed up, and this is a great way to do it. Free. And Amazon will add more storage. If you buy music on the Amazon store, they'll add more storage. Claudia, North Edwards, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Claudia.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good.
Welcome. What can I do for you?
Okay, I'm partially computer illiterate, and I've got a Hewlett-Packard laptop, and when I go online, quite often it'll come back with whether it's Google or whether it's my satellite that I deal with. and I can't think of its name right now. But anyway, it comes back with they're not responding.
Yeah.
And I
That's
don't know
because
what
you have satellite internet.
Ah, okay.
Which you have because you're in a rural area, right?
Yes, sir, I am.
That's the only problem is when you're in a rural area, you don't have access to cable or DSL or any less expensive solution. So a lot of people use these satellite solutions. The real problem with the satellite solution, unfortunately, is besides the fact that you have to buy hardware and it's expensive, it's slow and it's easy to overrun it.
We lost everything.
Yeah, the whole thing just went down, didn't it? I heard that click.
Yeah.
I'm so why, it's the tech. I get a lot of heat for this because they say it's the tech guy show. Your technology should work better. No, you don't understand. We are on the cutting edge. Technology works less well if you're a tech guy, not better. The whole phone system just died. So, yes, and I'm not sure if that's the only reason. There's other things, too, but honestly, satellite is not the most reliable. If you reboot or restart your modem, sometimes that'll work. It's not us, John. They died in the studio. These things happen. It's okay. Computers crash. Hardware freezes. Phones fall out of your pocket into the toilet. These things happen. There's nothing we can do about it. I hear clicking and, and stuff going on. I'm sure it's a little bit of a madhouse in there. I could just sing. No, I better not. Website, techguylabs.com. When you go there, by the way, I'm really proud of this. We updated this website a few months ago. We now have James DeRuvo, who's sitting and listening and scribble as I'm talking. And then Josh Windish here and my staff. And what happens is we'll get everything as quickly as we can onto the website, show by show. Then Josh will come in. He'll add the video of the show, the audio of the show. And each question is so cool, I think. But I'm easily amused. When you can search question by question, you go there, you say, okay, that's the question. You can play the question, my answer, because we cue it right up to that point. Read my answer kind of synopsized by Josh, first by James, then by Josh. But then there's also a wonderful place where you can comment, and I hope you will. Add your thoughts, fix it. If you say, Leo was wrong, but... And that is another way to really make this a rich and valuable place. TechGuyLabs.com.
All right, yeah, everything just completely blacked out on us. All lines dropped.
Not my fault.
No, I know. Yeah, we're just.
That's fine.
Trying to keep things alive.
That's life. My contract runs out in November. No problem. Yeah, the software is made in France. The French make great stuff. No, it's not made in France. Good old USA. It's actually not the software. It's one of the nice things when we move it up here, we're using a state-of-the-art, a much more modern system. We're going to use a Telos VX and much more modern software. And Heather will be sitting right across from me. So I can do, she'll be sitting. So here, if you look on this image, you could see over on the right, see my hand waving over there on the right-hand side? That's me. Heather will be sitting right across from me. You'd see her back on the right there. And we're gonna get a shot of, there you go. That's not Heather, that's Stan. But now here comes Heather. She's sitting down. You can see we've hired a very attractive young lady to do my calls here. That's Heather. Hi, Heather. That's Jammer B. But Heather starts on Saturday, and we're so excited. It'll be so much fun. Come on in. You don't have to hide out there. Don't have to be shy. Leo. Hi, Chris. How are you? Have we met before? Never, huh?
I think so. Maybe exchange an email or something like that.
And Lorik's giving you the hand signal. It means you may enter. Walt Disney Imagineering. Are you an Imagineer? Wow. That's like about the best job in the world, isn't it?
So I wish I could stay,
You want to get a picture real quick? Here, come on. Come on. Have a seat. Here, sit on the ball. Wear the funny hat. You can't say you visited the brick house unless you sit on the ball and wear the funny hat. You also need a camera. Oh, is this your wife?
That's my girlfriend.
Your girlfriend.
Good
Even
enough.
better. Why do you have a Yahoo case?
Because I work for Yahoo.
Oh my God! Really? What do you do?
I'm responsible for their help worldwide.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. How do you like it? How long have you been there?
I've been there about 14 months.
Oh, brand new. You joined right about when Marissa did.
I joined a week after Scott Thompson.
Oh yeah, you've been through a few CEOs.
Yes.
Well, that's great. Congratulations.
So,
What a great job. Are you in Mountain View or?
Well, I'm up in Portland.
Portland. Okay.
But I was down for the whole week, and so we
Cool.
went up to Sonoma. And
Oh,
fly on
how
the way
nice.
home.
How nice. Well, have a great visit. I really appreciate your being here. Thanks a lot.
care.
Take care. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Hover.com. While we're in a break. Hover is one of our sponsors. I love these guys at Two Cows. It's a Two Cows company. Remember Two Cows? The ultimate collection of Windows software, except now they're in some interesting businesses. They've got Ting, which is their phone service, which I love, and Hover, which is a domain name registration made rational. I've talked to Elliot Noss, the CEO over there, and he says, what we want to do with our business is find businesses that are run so unpleasantly for consumers that they're ripe for reinvention. And I think domain name registration is a very good one. On its face, it's simple. You want to get a domain name for your website or an email address, permanent email address. It's great for that. The problem is that you go to some of these other guys and they try to sell. It's 50 clicks to say I don't want to buy anything. I just want the domain name, and it's just complicated. They have terrible customers. Not Hover. Hover's all about the best customer service, no upsell. Incredible, simple tools for domain name management. They don't do hosting. They're not going to try to sell you hosting. In fact, they throw in whois privacy, subdomains, and URL forwarding free. So while these other guys will try to upsell you, they know you want privacy. So they just throw it in. Of course you want URL forwarding. For a domain name for your website, a permanent email address, this is a great idea. In fact, friends having a baby, get the baby's name as a .com for a permanent email address. It's like the best gift ever. Hover.com. They've got all the big TLDs, top-level domains, .com. Although I think when you search for .com frequently, let's just search for one here. You'll find there's no .com available. Fancypants.com. Hover does a nice thing. They'll show you the .net, which is frankly see. But they found the other ones. And look at all the different domains they have. .net, .org, .tv, .pro, .mobi, .biz, .ca, .asia, .uk, .us. Fine Pants, that's almost as good as Fancy Pants. MissFancyPants.com is available. Hover.com. I think you might want to try this for your next domain. And if you already have domain registrations elsewhere, their concierge service will move it all over without any pain, no fuss. Great online help, support documentation, tutorials. And of course, their no hold, no wait, no transfer phone support. When you call during business hours, you're going to talk to a live person who's empowered and eager to help. This is the way to do it. Hover.com. If you go to hover.com/techguy and use our offer code techguy, you'll get 10% off your new names. 10% off at hover.com/techguy. FancyPants.com. I actually own FancyPants.com. That's why I knew it wouldn't be available. I might have given it up. Should log in and see if I still have it. I got AbbieLaporte.com. I got HenryLaporte.com. Of course, I got those. They're good through 2020 now. I renewed them so that even though the kids don't want them, I'm holding on to it. They'll want it someday. I got LeoLaporte.net. That's I should use that. I think it goes to Leoville. Still have Munchcast. Polywog Parenting. I don't know why I have that. I really don't. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number if you got a question, a comment, a suggestion. Call, so we got a new call screening system. This should work nicely. The calls are going to come in on my watch. Yep, they just came in. That is wild. That is just wild. I'm not joking. I'll explain later, but I have a watch that tells me not only what time it is, but who's next. And it's Jim in Lawrenceville. Oh, now it's scrolled off. Hi, Jim. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Lawrenceville, Georgia. Hi, Jim.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm great.
I'm considering buying a MacBook Retina display PC.
Great.
We're traveling on a trip this summer.
Yeah.
The trip isn't until August, and I'm wondering whether or not I should wait for the new Haswell chip to come out.
Yeah, that's about the right time frame, actually. It may not come out then. Apple doesn't. We don't know what Apple's going to do, but Haswell is a better mobile part. It'll give you much better battery life, and what you want on a Retina, particularly, is better GPU, better graphics performance. Are you going to get the 15 or the 13?
13 to travel with.
Yeah, 13 is not so demanding if they put a good hardware in it. Some people are saying it's a little pokey because they're not putting good hardware in it. I would recommend it's not pushing as many pixels as you might imagine as the 15, but then they didn't put as much power in it either. I have a 15 and I love it. I have become fully sold on what Apple calls Retina displays, but what I'll just call super high resolution displays. They are crisper. They're easier on the eyes. They're easy to read. If you do, I imagine one of the reasons you bring a laptop is you're going to be doing some photography.
Yes, download videos.
Yeah. Well, downloading video is one thing. You can watch movies on this thing, and it just looks spectacular. But if you're doing any photography, you're going to be shooting your own movies?
Yes, the movie cameras.
Ah. Oh, you're a pro.
No.
What kind of camera are you shooting with?
A Canon HD.
Okay. So yeah, they'll look great. The color on the Apple monitors is superb. I think it's a very good choice. I have a 15 and I like the 15, but the 13. Yeah, the problem is you may be waiting for nothing because they may not come out in time.
Okay. All right, I'll play it by ear.
Yeah, it's always best. It's always best to wait as long as you can for anything. And in this case, we do see on the horizon a new Intel chipset, as you said, the Haswell chipset, which will be faster and it's smaller, so it'll be lower power, lower heat. That means better battery life. So the Haswell mobile parts may not be out by then, but and then they have the Haswell super low power. Those I'm almost certain won't be out by then. Remember, they have to get Intel has to get the chip out. Then Apple has to get the computer out, and there's usually a few, weeks or months in between the two. You might just make it. You might just make it. Yeah. You're going to have it's lovely. You're going to have a great time and have a great trip. What are you taking pictures of up there?
Just the scenery, just going on a cruise tour up there.
Perfect. So beautiful. So beautiful. I think you'll have a great time.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. John in Montebello, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
How's it going, Leo?
It's great. How are you, John?
Pretty good. I have an issue, or I'm trying to get a solution to a certain issue I've run into. I currently have a MacBook Pro 2011, iCore 7. I have a Thunderbolt display, and I also have an LG display that I was told I could connect to the Thunderbolt via mini USB to HDMI.
No.
Apparently that doesn't work, so I'm trying to find another solution to connect this LG so I could run two monitors extended.
So Thunderbolt, which Apple uses for a variety of things, including video, is not a standard for video. So, and no one knows exactly how Apple's doing it. So there's no way you can get a converter that will work. At least that's been my experience. I was going the other way, so I don't know. But I was trying to get a Thunderbolt display to work with a mini display port out. Because they're the same physically, right?
Right.
But I wasn't ever able to get it to work, and I was told that's because Apple doesn't really explain how they do it.
Exactly. And I had heard something about daisy chain where you could connect, but it was unclear where you could connect a Thunderbolt hard drive that has Thunderbolt ports, and then you could connect a mini to it. But I mean, man, we're talking about a couple hundred to get that hard drive.
I know.
Sure.
So I know for a fact that you can't use a Thunderbolt monitor with a mini display port, even on a Mac. The question is, can you use a Thunderbolt port on a Mac? I guess you must have one of the newer. Do you have an iMac or a laptop?
It's a MacBook Pro.
MacBook Pro. Yeah, so I have the same thing. And instead of a mini display port, it has a Thunderbolt port. And if you're using Apple's Thunderbolt monitor, it works fine.
Right.
But I don't know if anybody's figured out where the video is on that so that they can use it. And I wouldn't be surprised if Apple says, well, it's proprietary. You know, they're putting chips in these cables now to keep people from making compatible cables. So it's the same connector, but it's data. So you have to have on the other end something that can understand the data. So Simply Charlie in our chat room says, yes, mini display port from a Thunderbolt port does work. Simply Charlie, how are you doing it? Are you just plugging in? Didn't you try that, though?
Yeah, I did, and it didn't. The monitor it didn't come up, and then when I went to my settings, that monitor doesn't show.
Right.
So it's just like if it's not there.
Right. Well, that's my experience, but the chat room's saying, oh, no, any mini display port device or cable should work from Thunderbolt. Yeah, except it doesn't. All right. The chat room seems adamant that you can do this, that you should be able to plug in any mini display port monitor into a Thunderbolt port, and it should work.
That you could if it's connected, because prior to getting this Thunderbolt display, I did have that same LG connected to the Thunderbolt.
Oh, okay.
Mini, HDMI to mini, but now that I have the Thunderbolt display connected into that Thunderbolt port,
it's not working.
No way to connect the extra monitor.
Oh, you want to daisy chain it. I get what you're saying.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So good. So that's confirmation. And I'm glad to know that. So I could take my MacBook Pro with Retina display, and Thunderbolt is the only external port on that. Plug in a standard mini display port cable, and it will work with a monitor. The problem is now I'm plugging in the Apple Thunderbolt monitor, which is beautiful and nice and everything. But how do I get? And then when you plug the mini display port into the back of the Thunderbolt, you don't see video. I guess it's not passing video through.
Exactly.
And if Apple decides not to pass the video through, then I don't know what you do. Chat room, how about that? How do you daisy chain? They say, oh, well, that's a horse of a different color. They don't know. They got no idea. And maybe, this is the problem. You're working with Apple, which is a black box. We don't know what Apple's doing. Apple will say, well, no, you have to use Apple monitors. You can daisy chain it just fine if you use all Apple gear. But you're not. So I don't know. And I don't have an answer for you, I'm sorry to say. 8888 Ask Leo, and maybe I'll tell you what, this is an example of something that the website could be really great for. If you have a thought about this, we're going to put the question and answer up. John's question will be up on the chat room or on the website, techguylabs.com. You could say, Leo, you ignorant fool, you. All you need to do is a Framitz adapter attached and it'll work fine. And I'd love to get that in there. Please do. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Mick says, I could daisy chain some Commodore 1541 floppies. Will that help? No. Yet. I love Epson and respect them. They make great quality products, including business protectors. Daisy chaining to a drive. That's what he wanted to know. Well, if I put it on a drive, would that fix it? I don't know. Yeah, I remember the 5 monitors on a MacBook Pro Retina, but how were they? Were they all Apple monitors or? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 888-827-5536. We've got line 3, Rancho Cucamonga. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Patty.
Hi, Patty.
I've got a small problem.
Okay.
I got a new computer, and I have Microsoft 8. And in the middle of the night when I was half asleep, I created a username and a password. I have no idea what it is. Today I'm going to remember. I have an excuse, though. I was taking Ambien. And so,
Oh, man. You have a great excuse. That's stuff unbelievable.
I know.
That's not a joke. You will do stuff and wake up and have no idea what you did.
I know it. That's where I am. And how do I retrieve my username and my password?
But you have your other username and password, right?
I have my my private charter account, yes.
So you created a new Windows login? Is that what you did?
Yes.
But your old Windows login continues to work.
Yes, it does.
Okay, well, just use that.
But I'm installing Word. I bought Word, and I need my Microsoft username and password.
I got it. Okay. And so it wasn't a Windows password you created. You created a Microsoft Outlook account or a Live account.
Yes.
And you don't remember what either the login or the password.
Right.
All right. So you presumably Ooh. Well, now let me think about this. Wow. Did you have an Outlook account before, or did you not have an? You never had an account before, so you've now created an account with an email that you don't know. Because if you knew the email, you just say, "Hey, I forgot my password," and they'd send it to you.
Right. Well, how do I get my username back?
Well, there is a possibility that you doing this. And by the way, when you're on Ambien, you're not loopy necessarily. It's just a blackout state. So you can actually do things like set up an Outlook account and install Office 365. You know, you got to tell the Microsoft folks this, because they just did a they just did a video in the Microsoft Garage of somebody installing Office 365 in an acrobatic stunt plane, doing loop-de-loops, because they want to show you how easy it is to do. You could be you could be a new ad campaign. So easy to install, you could do it while you're sleeping.
Yes. So should I call the Microsoft? I'm sorry, I apologize.
No, don't worry about it. Well, the problem is I don't know if you can give them any information that would be of use to them, because we don't know the email address you created. It could be sleepygal65@outlook.com. It could be you just don't know.
Is there any way I could start over and make a new one? Would it let me do that?
Yeah, you could call them and say, look, I don't remember what I did. Could you, but I would have used this credit card, right?
Yes.
So I used this credit card. Could you please let me create a new account associated with that credit card?
Okay.
And then I think they could do that.
Okay, I will try that.
I think you're going to have to. The other possibility, when you set up a Live account, they do ask for a second email address, and sometimes you could also give it a cell phone number. It's possible you gave them an existing email address in your sleep and or a existing cell phone number in your sleep. You could try to recover the password and log in to those accounts.
Okay, but it's going to take me making a call, correct?
Yeah, well, you could go online and say, hey, I forgot everything, but here's my backup email, and use your real email and see if you get an email from live.com.
Wonderful. Okay.
Wow.
I will do that.
That's great. And when you talk to Microsoft, say, I want to be in the next ad for Office 365.
I'll do that.
That's incredible.
Thanks, Leo.
Thanks for the call. Wow. It really does. I have experienced this myself. Ambien is a sleeping pill. And in fact, who was it? There was some elected official who was caught in a bit of a scandal. And he said, well, I was on Ambien. And it happens. You black out. You don't know what you're doing. And I've had experiences myself, not myself, but a friend of mine, blacked out on Ambien. And, huh? Was it a Kennedy? So in this case, she was on an airplane. She takes Ambien because she's scared of flying. Woke up. She had a drink in front of her, she doesn't remember ordering, and was sleeping on the shoulder of the guy next to her. Has no... And he was very friendly. So she was a little worried, frankly, about what... But you don't know. It's completely possible to have... It's an amazing thing to have created a Microsoft account and purchased Microsoft Office and have no memory of it. Wow. Wow. If yeah, I'm sure you can call, you must have used a credit card. So I'm sure you can call them up and say, "Hey, tell them the story." They'll laugh. They'll enjoy it and say, "Hey, I associated it with this credit card and I want credit for it because you purchased it and it's a subscription but you have no way of canceling it, no way of renewing it, no way of assigning it, no way of using it. So could you please reassociate that or let me create a new account?" Wow. And as Splash says in the chat room, I hope that's all you did. Who knows? You could have taken a ride downtown. You don't know. Wow. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Rob's on the line from Shelby, Montana. Hi, Rob.
Hi, Leo.
Welcome.
My name's Rod. Sorry.
Rod. No, I'm sorry. Little typo there. Actually, it's my fault. I misread it. What can I do for you, Rod?
I got a question on. I got a Razer Max HD.
Great battery life on that sucker. I wish I had. I mean,
it is.
I wish
It
HTC had done the same thing with the HTC One. I'd be a lot happier.
Yeah, especially up in kind of rural area, you're bouncing in and out of towers.
I think that's what's happening to me with this one. Is that it's working harder than it should have to get a signal.
Yeah. I had the Thunderbolt, and that thing, the battery lasted half a day where I was at.
Yeah, it's useless. What do you get on the Max?
If I don't do a bunch of texting and taking pictures, I usually get a good day out of it. Which is
that's interesting because I was getting days.
No,
It shows you what a challenging environment you're in.
Yeah, we're about 30 miles from the Canadian border, so then we hit roaming towers too.
Yep.
But I got right now my RAM is like 743 used, and I only have like 74 left. And I've been trying to use the task killers and stuff, but it seems like nothing I use.
No, you don't need on the latest versions, and I think you've got Ice Cream Sandwich on that Max, right?
Yep,
yeah.
They did, yep.
On the latest versions of Android, you don't use task killers anymore.
Okay.
The task killer uses more battery.
Well, I found that. I took it off, and my battery went better.
Yeah, it uses RAM and battery. And so the whole idea, all mobile operating systems do this, is because it's a constrained environment. You don't have a lot of memory. You don't have a lot of processor power. The applications are supposed to be killed automatically, but they will use all the memory until it's needed, and then they'll just kill the last one, the oldest one. So you shouldn't have any problem with that. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Android is better than humans at memory management. That's exactly right. When your entire team can get together, it's amazing what can get. So I have not been able
to take weeks, decisions take days
to
get to the chase. They're done right then and there. But
this to work
as
again.
You probably know, gathering everyone together, different locations, time-consuming, expensive to fly people in. Often you just can't do it at all. That's why we always use GoToMeeting with HD Faces. It makes it easy for everyone.
We just have to suffer through this for one more hour, right?
We need to, as often as we want, no matter how far away.
Hallelujah.
With GoToMeeting, you're sharing the same
All right,
screen.
I think
so
it's
you're
up
staying on the same
now.
page. And that built-in HD
Yes,
video
I see blinking lights. Of course, you'll have to refresh, and who knows how long it'll last.
Launch or join a
I would
meeting
wait
anywhere,
until
using your computer, your smartphone, tablet.
Yeah, last
You can even present from your iPad.
It's working fine. The only
try
thing is I can't put people on hold.
Don't wait for this special
so it means
offer.
you have to pay
Visit
attention.
GoToMeeting.com.
So using less RAM, that's an interesting question. I don't think you should have to worry about RAM management on Android at all, period. Now, the problem is the Razer Max probably doesn't have a lot of RAM. I'm guessing it has 512. Most of the modern Android phones, like the S4, this HTC One, have 2 gigs.
You're tuned to Premier Channel 7.
And there's a reason why they have more RAM, I guess.
6 minutes past the hour. From Premier Radio Network.
Yeah. It's just all that happens is, actually modern computers do this too. You want any process that's running to have as much memory as it wants. So you let the processes take memory. But what you do is if another process launches and it says, I need RAM, it kills the oldest process and recovers its memory. It does this all automatically. So on a normal computer, PC or mobile, you should see almost maximum RAM use all the time. Except when you first boot it up. It has a gig. Well, a gig's plenty. That'll be interesting, Dark Slate. I love the idea of a replaceable battery. I don't care so much about a micro SD card because I got 64 gigs in this one. I don't know. I've been using a Galaxy Note, and I miss my Galaxy Note. I love my Galaxy Note, but this one is the best phone I've ever used. The only thing is a real PITA because I got to charge it all the time. Archandra, yeah, we don't even have software. We have a new phone handset that has on the front of the handset, it says the caller, the city, and all of that is actually in the phone. It's a Telos VX system. It's gorgeous. I probably can find an image of it.
From Premier Radio Network.
Those Telos folks are fantastic. It's, they say, the future of broadcast radio. So I have one of these things on the desk. This thing is in the basement. Heather will have a call center and the screen and a computer. She does everything from the computer. Here it is. It's so pretty. It's so beautiful. So it has room for 12 lines. We'll only use 5. Actually, we're going to use 6. So there's a screen here, and it has a little bit of room for text, and that'll say caller's name, city, all of that. Very nice. And I have full control from that. So does Heather. And we're also setting Heather up so that she's got a camera, as you could see, and she's going to have a microphone. She's going to be a part of the show. She did that for Dean Adele for 11 years. She's great. And it'll be nice to have somebody to bounce off of. I can say, Heather, who's next? She'll be just like Roz on Frasier. Dr. Dean Edel. Have you ever heard that show? He was a doctor. He's retired now, but he was on for years, and she was his call screener, which is why I have high confidence, because that's about as close as you can get to a technology show. You know, it's technical stuff, and it was one of the greatest shows ever. And I knew Dean sort of, and he did it out of KGO while I was there, and then was syndicated. He did it since 1979. And retired in 2010. That's a 21-year run. Nice guy. Anyway, she worked for him for a long time. And we were just very lucky. She was working a show which got canceled 2 weeks ago. And so we were just very lucky. The premiere people knew her. And she knows everybody I know. Cammie Blackstone, Kim Wonderland. You know, radio is a small fraternity. I had never met her. I probably met her at KGO. I just don't remember. But so she's great, and she's gonna be a good part of the show. I think.
You're tuned to Premier Channel 7. Laporte,
so the calls will be on. We're gonna have the phone system here. She's gonna be here, and the calls will be here. That's where John is right now. He's putting in some gels. We're gonna warm her up. Good. She'll look like the devil with the red gels. That's good. She's pretty technical too. She sent me a note saying she went to the Instagram Kevin Systrom's talk at the press club. The reflection's the only thing that kills you, but that looks good. You look very blue, very purple. Well, hey, how you doing? How are you? Leo Laporte, the tech guy here. Time to talk about computers, the internet, home theater, Cell phones, been talking a lot. I'm sorry, I'm talking your ear off about this new HTC One. When a cell phone is such a personal computer, right? It's the one you carry with you at all times. When a cell phone is well done, you kind of fall in love with it. It's like your. My ex-wife used to call my girlfriend. She said, "Are you taking your girlfriend to bed again?" I said, "I can't help it. I can't stop playing with my phone." And what's nice is that these phones nowadays have all the power. That's probably why she's my ex-wife, right? Yeah. These phones have all the power of a desktop computer. In fact, more in some cases. This HTC One is a quad-core 1.7 gigahertz processor. That's 4 processors, each running at 1.7 gigahertz. And 2 gigs of RAM. Now, our last caller last hour had a Droid Max. That has a gig of RAM. He was a little concerned because he was looking at the metrics and he saw that his RAM was getting used up. This, by the way, is a good argument for not showing the user stuff like that. Because we get calls all the time. My Windows, it's 100% CPU. Well, what do you want? You want it to be 50%? What do you want? You want it just to leave RAM unused? No, it's good. That's what you want. These systems are designed to use all the processor and all the memory you've got. So they're as fast as possible. Android, just like iOS, is designed very cleverly to use, understanding that a phone is a little bit of a different beast. For one thing, battery life is huge. You don't want to use more juice than you need. You don't want the phone idling, using up power. And they often have less memory, a gig of memory. Your desktop computer has at least 4, probably more. So they have less memory. CPU cycles are tight. You don't want to use more power than you have to. So they're very carefully designed to be efficient. One of the things they'll do is they'll let programs launch and run, and they'll even let them run in the background. But if they run low on RAM, they'll close the oldest process. You don't have to do that. You don't need a task killer. I don't know if you ever really needed a task killer, maybe in the earliest days of Android. I used them too. But the advice since Ice Cream Sandwich, since 4.0, has been pretty clear. This is coming from Google, the Android community, the Android developers. Do not use a task killer. You're just wasting precious memory and cycles because that's got to always be running. Don't use it. We'll take care of it for you. And they do a good job. So don't really pay too much attention to, how much RAM is being used or how much processor is being used in your desktop. It's doing what it's supposed to do. The only time it becomes an issue is if your phone says, I can't go on. I don't think that's what he was saying. If you've had that problem, that's another issue. And I don't think a task killer is going to help you there either. That's something wrong. You might want to reinstall. 8888 Ask Leo. Don't worry. Be happy. Let the phone do it. These computers are so smart. Somebody sent me an email the other day, said, what's the best disk defragmenter? None. You don't. We have these memories of the bad old days. I'd have to run a memory manager on Windows 3. Remember that? Remember the QEMM and all those memory managers? You don't have to do that anymore. Those are the bad old days. You don't have to defrag disks. Modern operating systems take care of that. I don't think you need to run registry cleaners or any of that stuff. That should all be handled by the operating system. And the risk is if you stick your fingers into the spokes, you're going to get pinched. Best to leave it alone. Let the system run as it's supposed to. Tom's in Redondo Beach, California. Hi, Tom. Oh, let me push the button here. Our phone system has been very... You know why? It knows it's going to be abandoned after today. Isn't that odd that it should know that? Yeah, I can't pick up for some reason, but I'll let you do that, Nathan. Tom on line 5 from Redondo Beach. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo.
Do you think computers know that when you're about to retire them, they start to misbehave?
Yeah, I think they do.
What can I do for you, Tom?
I want to double dip on my switch over from AT&T to Sprint. And so I had a couple questions.
Okay.
First of all, my neighbor where I live is getting good Sprint LTE because they just launched LA and kind of doubled.
Good. So that's the first question, because Sprint's coverage is spotty, but if your neighborhood's getting good LTE, Sprint's, great because it's unlimited bandwidth.
And all the places I go, except right on the sand at the beach, is also fair to good, according to my friends that have Sprint.
Good.
on LTE.
That's
So
the
anyway,
research to do.
I would like to, and also I can get Sprint with 700 minutes and unlimited data for $70.
I know. These also ran, Sprint and T-Mobile are being very aggressive. They've got to compete with AT&T and Verizon. So you get great deals.
I can get a free Galaxy S3 32 megabyte in the deal.
Awesome.
So on AT&T, I have a $350 contract buyout to sign up.
Yeah.
So I've been off a contract. I've been with AT&T for 10 years, but I've been off contract for 5. And so if I go and get a new contract with AT&T, I can pick up a tablet.
Wait a minute. You're trying to get $350 out of Sprint by recreating your AT&T contract.
Right, because I can pick up a tablet on AT&T if I re-up for 2 years for under $100. And so now I'll have a tablet at home to do Wi-Fi off of my Sling box and all of that.
So you get a cheap tablet.
Yeah, and I've got it.
What's the early termination fee?
$325.
So you're going to make $25.
And well, I have to pay for the tablet.
So you're going to have a $75 tablet.
Or some are 100, some are 150, and the Galaxy that you like, the Tab 2, is 200. So anyway, I can get a cheap tablet, dump AT&T, get my LTE that I want, and for an AT&T $120 a month for the same amount with limited, 5 gigabytes of data.
Right.
So anyway, I'm looking for, what's the downside? What am I missing here?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there may be some ethical concerns, but from a purely technical point of view, that sounds doable. There may be, I'd read the fine print. They may have all sorts of little caveats. They don't want to give you $350 for nothing.
Well, I know I lose my rollover minutes about 2,500 on AT&T.
Oh, that's significant, yeah.
And Sprint doesn't do that. But 700 minutes is well within my talk range anyway.
Yeah. It's funny, nowadays I don't use hardly as many minutes as I used to. I send so many texts. I rarely make phone calls, and if I do, they're not long.
And I'm thinking that I can go Skype on the unlimited data for talk time.
It's amazing now on these smartphones. You can run Skype on them and use data.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I get an AT&T tablet, can it work standalone without AT&T after I cancel to do Wi-Fi around my house or Starbucks?
It won't work, of course, as you understand, on the 3G network, but it'll work as a Wi-Fi tablet, you bet.
Okay. Now the other, so I think that the math works out.
Yeah, and while it may be ethically challenged, there is no one in the world who is going to berate you for messing with the cell phone companies. They've been messing with us for so long. It's good to get a little back.
Well, Donald Trump says that he can back up a real estate contract because the contract says it's good until either party backs out of it. So I don't think it's unethical.
No, I don't think Donald Trump is the person I'd use as my moral compass. But if you're at peace with that, go ahead.
He calls it strategic default.
This is why we have attorneys in the world, to go through all these contracts with a fine-tooth comb looking for loopholes like that.
Okay, let me ask the two questions that I am concerned about.
Okay.
First of all, simultaneous voice and data on LTE. I can't find a phone or anything that does that yet.
No, they will, though. The reason is because it's a technical reason. They're using two different technologies. They're using LTE for data only, but all these companies are moving to LTE for voice and data. And at that point, it'll be simultaneous voice and data everywhere. That's going to be fixed soon. Hang on. We'll get the rest of your question in just a bit. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
The ethically challenged.
I mean, they set it up that way. I don't do stuff like that for a couple of reasons. Mostly because I know that I'd screw it up somehow and it'd end up costing me twice as much. That I'd somehow miss something. Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. This is the show where we answer computer and technology questions and have a great time doing it. You could call me at 8888-ASK-LEO or visit our website. I've been mentioning all the cool things we do on the website. One thing I want to underscore, it's free. The show is free, the podcasts are free, the video's free, the questions, the answers, they're free, and I promise you they will always be free. I am a huge believer in free ad-supported media. We thank our wonderful sponsors who make it all possible. They pay the bill. They pay the bandwidth bill, the power bill. They pay me. They pay everybody, Nathan, everybody, with their advertising. So support them, but that means you don't have to pay anything for anything. And so please feel free to partake as much as you want at techguylabs.com. Hey, while you're there, click the chat link. You can join our chat room. They work for free too. It's one thing we haven't done. We don't pay our chat mods. They're volunteers. They care. They care deeply. And Jeff, we don't pay you either. No. That's because you're an intern, Jeff. That's how it works in this fine land of ours. We were talking to Tom in Redondo Beach, who has a very clever plan worthy of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid for leaving AT&T and going to Sprint and getting an expensive tablet as a result. And now I ran out of time, Tom, so let me see if I can remember what it was we were talking about. I had a couple of points I wanted to make.
Okay, Leo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I was talking about simultaneous voice and data.
Ah, yes. They'll all be doing it soon, but Sprint currently does not do it.
Yeah, and I guess that my concern with that is eventually I want to dump my land cable, Time Warner,
right?
And if LTE tests out good enough. But my problem with the voice data, simultaneous voice data, is that if I'm talking on the phone, I won't get my texts and emails until I hang up that phone call, and so that somebody could be urgent, you know.
Texts you will get because those are not data. Email you will not get.
Email you would not.
But texts you will.
And then on my voice messages, if I'm on data surfing, would somebody leaving me a voice message, would I miss a call or would it drop?
No, the call rings even if you're online. It just bumps you offline.
It just bumps you offline.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's how the same. Anyway, so I'm going to get an.
I have never. Now, everybody's got a different use case. I've never had a problem with that. I have Verizon and Sprint phones. As well as AT&T and T-Mobile. I have accounts with all 4 major carriers just so I can test, their systems and phones. And I go back and forth, and it's never bugged me.
So you're still notified. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, it's never bugged me. The only, the use case is unusual, where I'm on a phone call and now I want to check a map, or I'm on a phone call and I want to look up a website. These are unusual cases. I think in most cases, you're either talking on the phone or you're using the internet. You rarely do both.
Yeah, I'm going to hopefully do eBay when I'm out roaming around talking to people. But
and when you're using Skype, remember you said you might use Skype, everything will work then. Then you're all data.
That's a good point. And I'm getting a free S3 with this switch over.
That's a nice phone. That's a great phone to get for free.
Yeah, and even if the new stuff, even your HTC One isn't doing simultaneous voice data, and it's up to the carrier anyway, right?
Yeah, and as I said, all carriers hope to do that by moving to LTE. The whole reason they're implementing this new 4G network, this LTE, which has it's a stupid acronym. It stands for long-term evolution. I hate acronyms that have nothing to do with technology. They're just like marketing terms. But the point of LTE is that it is a fast enough data carriage that they can replace the old style CDMA networks. They won't be using those anymore. Everybody in the world will be LTE in the next 5 years.
The other marketing term is New Vision for Sprint.
Yeah, it's just marketing. That's just. I look forward to a day, and we do this with all our advertisers now, and I encourage them to do this. Advertisers have in the past said, we don't want to talk to smart people because smart people are too smart. They won't fall for our ads. And so my response to them is, you can't trick them, but they are smart. So if you tell them what you have to offer them and it's something they can use, they will buy your product. And we've convinced our advertisers on this show and all my podcasts that that's the way to come. Not try to trick people, scare them into using a product, but simply say, look, this is the product. In fact, that's why all our advertisers have 30-day trials. Try it. If you like it, use it. If not, no big deal. I just think that's so much of a better way to interact with your potential users, is just to be honest with them.
One more question, Leo?
Sure, Tom.
I'm thinking that even though this trickamaroo here for the AT&T to get a tablet, maybe I can just get a tablet on the open market cheaper than their special price to re-up for 2 years.
Yeah, you probably can. I don't think it's a good. I'm a big believer in paying for what you get, and I don't think a cheap tablet is worth the money. You can get Pantech tablets. That's probably what they're trying to sell you for $100. They're just crappy. Spend a little money. Get the Galaxy. Get the Samsung. It's better. Or the Nexus 7 from Google. $200. Great tablet. That's still awfully cheap. Trying to go below $200, $250 is risky, in my opinion. You get stuff that just doesn't work very well. I see people do this all the time. I want a $250 Windows computer. Yeah, you can get one. You'll be sorry. Spend a little money. Get something a little bit better. It'll last you longer. You'll be happier with it. You won't have... And that's the problem is I get the calls. You know, I spent $80 on this Pantech tablet, but I can't figure out how to get online. Well, it's probably missing the Wi-Fi chip. Of course it was $80. Spend a little money. You'll thank me later. 88. Look, think what. I mean, we talked about this yesterday. Think what we're getting now for. It may feel expensive to you, but you have a supercomputer in your pocket, and it costs you $200. Come on, get real here. Adam is on the line from Putnam Valley, Nevada. Our next caller. Hi, Adam. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
How are you?
It's Putnam Valley, New York. I'm sorry, I misread it.
That's okay.
Welcome.
I'm calling because usually it's Apple questions I call you about, but this time it's different. My son just graduated from RIT.
Oh, congratulations. Rensselaer's is it Rochester Institute of Technology? Is that what it is?
That's correct.
Yeah, RPI is Rensselaer. Okay.
That's correct. He got accepted to both, but he enjoyed RIT. He liked their campus better.
It's a great school. Is he going to be an engineer, computer guy?
Yeah, mechanical. He
mechanical engineer. Of course he does.
Yeah.
Get a skill, you'll get a job.
Yep. And he's happy too.
Good for him.
He's happy.
Good.
So the thing is this: we're all. I've called before. We're all Apple users, and he's deviated away from Apple, where he said he just needs Windows for what he's doing.
Yeah, for mechanical engineer, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All the CAD software is Windows, all that stuff. Yeah.
Right, and he also uses Steam on the internet. He said there's not much on Apple for that either.
Hold on a sec. We're going to take a break. Just hang on, Adam. Okay. We'll come back right after the bottom of the hour. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. AT&T is all about innovation in billing. That's really true. All our innovations in billing. I'm going to get the Galaxy S4 on T-Mobile. I have high hopes. I really do. I used to use T-Mobile. I'm just hoping that they're going to... Sprint in our area is no use at all. That's why my mom's getting my Galaxy Note 2. She's getting the Sprint phone. No, Concreta, of course, because the supercomputers are faster, too. But remember the Cray? This is faster than a Cray. This is faster than a computer that 10 years ago took up a whole room, required AC, and a priesthood to maintain it. Yeah, that's exactly why. She's got Crimson. My mom has the Sprint phone, and it doesn't work in my house. But that's good for her. It works. It should work fine in Cranston. Oh, the thing that AT&T, I wanted an unlisted number. They charge you to not put your number in the phone book. Why? Because they can. Yeah, you have to leave all guns at the door. Oh, okay. You want a picture? You can take a picture of my dog. I don't know if you'll get him to sign the model release, but you can take his picture. Oh, yeah, he keeps saying, say hi to Steve, say hi to Steve.
The old color computer.
You wrote that program?
No. He wrote the display, but I wrote most of the games.
Oh, he mentioned you were going to be here.
Yeah. Okay.
Have we met before?
A long time ago when we were in the cottage.
Yeah.
We
talked about this, didn't we? What games did you write?
Well, things like Zaxxon.
Oh, I love Zaxxon. But you wrote the port, right? You didn't write the original Zaxxon.
I helped get the thing go from... When it came from Japan, it was his own
sitting down here.
I loved Zaxxon. What a great game that was. But you didn't do the coin op. You rewrote the coin op.
I feel like a little kid. Whoa!
Where are you from?
Just Grass Valley.
Oh, cool. Well, come anytime.
We're going up to...
on your way to the...
Ronner Park to look at a horse.
My wife was just looking at a horse.
I realized you were probably here on the air. And I thought,
Why did you stop by? What's your name?
Mike Toller.
Mike, nice to meet you. Nice to meet
Hey, I
you.
look for you at the Super Bowl, too.
Oh. Heartbreaker. But what a great game. We're up on the rim right. We were in Niners side because Lisa would refuse to sit on the Ravens side, although it didn't matter. And we were on the right below the boxes, like right on the edge of the boxes. So it was kind of up underneath the overhang on section. I can't remember the section. Where were you sitting? You were closer to. You had nice seats. We were on like the third. Me too. It was worth it. And Lisa says, and by the way, we're going to New York if they win next year. We'll meet you there. Oh. Oh. I bet they're great seats too. No, wife, ex-wife. It's just a habit. I am not remarried. Who do we have? Lauren Good. No, but I wanted to get her on, yeah. Yep. Good. Love Jason. Great. He should stick around anyway. Yeah. Is that the Veronica Mars music that you just played? That's what they're saying in the chat room.
Yes.
See, I never saw that show, and now I'm blown away. What did they raise? $4 million on Kickstarter, something like that, to bring it back. Kickstarters, you know about Kickstarter? I'm sure everybody does now. It's a very interesting idea, originally created for exactly the purpose of Veronica Mars fans were using it for, to raise money for creative projects, artworks, movies, TV shows, novels, that kind of thing. But it didn't take very long before people who wanted to create products thought this is a good way to raise the money to create a prototype, maybe to build a market. And so there are a lot of products being sold on Kickstarter. I just got, even though Kickstarter wants you to know, hey, we're not a store. And that, by the way, I would like to underscore that. You are effective. You're not buying a stock shares. You're not investing. You're not even buying a product. You're giving, you're donating, contributing money to a project to help them get off the ground, maybe because you think it's a great idea and you'd like to be able to buy that project if it ever comes out. I have a mixed track record with Kickstarter. I seem to back some pretty stupid things, some of which I've never gotten. The first Kickstarter project I backed was called Diaspora. It was to replace Facebook. That never got off the ground. That's $100 lost. Then I bought this thing called an ostrich pillow. I don't know what I was thinking. You put your head in it and your arms on the side and you look like a crazy person. I actually got one of those. It sprung a leak, though. All the little styrofoam pellets came out. That wasn't so great. There's stuff I've purchased on here that I never got, but one of the things I got more than a year ago invested on was a thing called the Pebble Watch. E-paper watch for iPhone and Android. They reached their funding almost exactly a year ago, May 18th, 2012. They raised, get this, $10.2 million. Whoa. Holy camole. Well, I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. See, I spent a little extra and I got the red Pebble watch. Apparently that was a mistake. I got an email from them a few weeks ago saying, we're having trouble with red. Could you take black? I said, I just want anything, please. Send it to me. I didn't have high hopes for this. I've tried a number of other watches that tie to your phone, and you know, I had terrible experience, so I didn't have high hopes for this, and I have to pleasantly surprised with this. So because it's e-paper, I think it's going to get good battery life. I don't know yet because I've only had it for a day.
It's kind of cool. I mentioned earlier I was getting calls. The call screener was giving me the upcoming calls on my watch. That's exactly what was happening. So I've tied the watch to my phone, in this case an Android phone, but it would work with an iPhone too. And it was very easy. I've tried other watches that the Bluetooth pairing process was painful. This was a snap. First thing you do is update the watch with the latest firmware. You do that from the phone. You don't have to ever connect the watch to a computer. It does it all wirelessly via Bluetooth. You could get different watch faces on it, which is kind of cool. I have one that's pure text that just says, 136. That's kind of neat. But then I've also tied it to the phone's notification system. So when I get a text message, a phone call, and I also tied it to Google Talk, so when I get an instant message, it tells me on the watch face. Now, I can't respond to it from the watch. And I'd like to make that clear. It's not a Dick Tracy phone or it doesn't have a camera. You can't touch the watch. It's not a touch screen. It's just a notification device. But, it works pretty well. So when they were sending me via instant message the name of the next caller, it would just come in on my watch. Wow. Then it goes back to the clock face after a while. Emails, I could set it up to I get so many emails, I didn't do that. The watch would be pinging all the time. You can even control your music from it. So if you're playing music on your smartphone, you can pause, skip, go backwards, play from the watch. So it's an interesting idea. It's not, I guess they're going to charge about, I paid $125 for the cherry red version. So $115 for the black ones. I don't know what is that, I guess that's something like what it's going to cost at retail. It's not super functional. It's not going to set the world on fire, and it's not certainly super beautiful, but it's not horribly ugly. It's not as thick as one would expect. It's a little thick. Okay, you look like a dork wearing it. I admit that. It's maybe better than I expected. But that's a glowing review. It's not that bad. Problem is, I've used so many really terrible Bluetooth watches. Now, what it does make me wonder is the rumor is Apple's doing an iWatch. And it really makes me wonder, what could Apple do that these guys haven't done? How could Apple make it better? Well, touchscreen would be one thing. And the Nano did have a touchscreen, so maybe that's one thing they'll do. It's $150, I guess, on the website getpebble.com. They say if you're cycling, you can, well, actually, I don't know if this, I think this maybe they didn't implement this yet, but it would show you your speed, your time, your distance. Same thing if you're running. I think that part's not working. They claimed a golf rangefinder. I don't think that part's working yet either. We'll see what Apple does. It's an interesting idea. 8888 Ask Leo. There's my thumbnail review of my wristwatch. We were talking before the break with
Adam.
Was it Adam in Putnam Valley? Hi, Adam.
How you doing, Leo?
Sorry to keep you on hold. Thank you.
That's okay. Just to let you know, I wear my Nano as a watch.
Yeah, that's what happened, I think, is that these Pebble guys saw all these people buying wristbands. It was another Kickstarter project for their Nano watch. Is that where you got yours?
Right. Yeah. Well, no, I got my Nano watch. I had a first gen Nano, and I've had it. There's no problems. And all of a sudden, I've seen the news they had a rebate for the first gen Nanos. So I went ahead and I put in for the rebate.
Oh, and you got the little square stamp, the postage stamp one.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they sent me the wearable Nano, the one before this generation.
Yeah, the idea was you'd clip it on a pocket, though, but somebody made wristbands, and you can wear it, and it has a clock face. It plays your music, stores your music, which this watch does not. Right. And then Apple pulled it off the market. And there's some people theorize, I think Ryan Block of Gadget chiefly, theorize that that's because Apple wanted to make their own wearable. And they didn't want to confuse people with one that was sort of wearable.
Right.
I think the Nano watch might be better than the Pebble. I don't know. We'll see.
I get a lot of good comments on it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. That's for sure.
Okay, down to business. As I said, my son just graduated college. I want to buy him a present. He has a MacBook he's using. He put that's ready.
He probably put Windows on it, right?
What's that?
Did he put Windows on it?
Yes.
Yeah. Walt Mossberg at the Wall Street Journal said the best Windows machine he ever used was a MacBook.
Yeah, he loves it.
Yeah, it works fine.
He now needs more of a powerhouse.
Right.
And he said to me the next computer he buys, he doesn't know I'm buying this, will be a desktop Windows machine.
Okay.
So I want to buy it for him, and I looked
that
online,
sweet?
and I'm just so out of date now with the Windows machines that I could use a recommendation.
It's nice to give him a physical one, but can I make a recommendation? You might be better off getting him an Egghead gift card. I'm sorry, not Egghead, Newegg. They used to be Egghead. A Newegg gift card, because he's going to know what he wants.
Right.
But does he want to build it? Does he want to get it all assembled?
No, I think he's going to get it all assembled.
Okay.
He could build it, but I don't think he wants to deal with it right now.
Yeah. I don't blame him. Well, you're certainly going to want to get an i7. That's the top-of-the-line Intel processor. You're going to want to get a lot of RAM because he's going to be using CAD software, mechanical engineering software. That means minimum, I would say, 8 gigs. You don't probably need to go bigger than 8 gigs. Big hard drive. Biggest thing, most important thing, might be the thing you give him and then give him a gift card, is a giant screen. The biggest screen, maybe 2 27s. That would be perfect. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We'll talk some more right after this. Newegg.
Do you want to keep
Egghead. Yeah, let's Newegg. It's got egg in it. They're not related? You know, I've observed something. I don't even know. I should check. Does Newegg sell? I'm sure they sell gift cards, right? I didn't even check. But if he wants a full-blown one, maybe Newegg wouldn't be the right one. He should get 16 gigs for, so maybe get a lot more memory. I didn't know that. I always thought Egghead, when they went out of business, they kind of became Newegg.
They're open, so you can track their progress. Files can be password protected for ultimate control. Plus, you can set up shared folders for easy collaboration with clients and coworkers. Share file.
iBuyPower.com.
And I've got a 30.
Am I dating myself with the Egghead?
No obligation. You'll see the difference later. Visit sharefile.com.
I bought Monoprice's 30-inch IPS display, Edmonton Oiler. It's very nice. It was cheap and it was nice.
30 days free. You're going to love it. Small businesses, no.
Oh, they do have a gift card. Thank you.
It's a waste of time. You don't have to.
I don't like AMD particularly. I can't see any reason to buy. I mean, I don't dislike them. It's just not. Intel's faster, more powerful. And I just can't see any reason to buy an AMD chip. iBuyPower is high-end. Let me look at it. Not familiar with that one. But I do like the name.
Whether you're sending envelopes or packages, first class.
So this is like a high-end Newegg.
You'll get the postage you need, the right postage every time, using your computer, your printer.
Oh, Valkyrie gaming laptop.
Again,
So they're gaming rigs?
You can spend your time.
So they make them themselves.
Bigger business, right? I want you to try a special offer. When you use my name, Leo, you'll get a no-risk file.
I like Doghouse Systems, too. They've been very nice to us.
Up to $55 free postage. Go to Stamps.com. Before you do anything else, click the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in
Falcon Northwest. I find that these are overpriced, frankly. If you looked at I don't know if this is the same. Yeah. So compare it to what you would pay. I see. So it's stock parts, so you could just say, hey, basically they're doing an assembly. So has anybody compared the price? What is the premium you're paying for them to assemble it? Let's get the Pro Series. Let's spec it out, right? Corsair Obsidian, that's nice. That's a nice case. Noise reduction. So this is like undercoating. So this is where they make their money. We can give you undercoating. It's very, very noisy in there. All right. Internal expansion system. What are they talking about? What are they talking about? So it's a i7-3930. That's a good processor. Oh, we can go higher. The gaming sale. Oh, Intel Performance Tuning Protection, only $39 more. This is for crying out loud. So really, they make their money by upselling you to this silly stuff. I want an Arc Dual Silent High Performance Fan upgrade. Wow. They only sell 64 gigs or 32 gigs. Let's get 64 gigs. Why not? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Waning hours of the Tech Guy show. We've been talking to Tom in Redondo Beach. He's buying a... Oh, not Tom. I'm sorry. Adam in the Putnam Valley, New York, was buying a... I hope your son's not listening. Wants to buy a desktop for his son who just graduated from RIT with a degree in mechanical engineering. He's already going to work. He wants a power desktop system for his work, which means, he's going to run AutoCAD. He wants high-end stuff. The chat room saying visit ibuypower.com. This is a reseller, it's a computer builder. So they'll take power parts and assemble them. And I would guess you could get him a gift card there. And that would be a good solution because he could then go in and say, okay, I want to spend the money on this versus that and so forth. ibuypower.com. If he's a high-end user, this would be a good choice.
Okay. How's the customer service on that?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. How about chat room? What do you think? Customer service good? They'd have to be because otherwise you could just buy this stuff yourself and put it together. The advantage of buying it from a single source is they're responsible for it. So I would say that they probably have to be pretty good in terms of service. Otherwise, you wouldn't go there. I do think a big monitor for him, in fact, probably dual monitors is a good idea. That's where he's going to really spend his money, on dual 27-inch monitors. For CAD and for the kind of stuff he's doing, screen real estate is the single most valuable thing you could spend your money on. The chat room saying, hey, memory's cheap. Don't stop at 8. Go to 16 or 32 or more. Another one, Cyber Power PC. Somebody in the chat room loves that. You're nodding, Steve. You like that? Cyber Power PC. The truth is that the support of the big guys, HP and Dell, is terrible. Used to recommend Dell just because they have such great support. And the problem is the margins in the PC industry are so razor thin now, they just can't afford to give you good support. I don't know how techie your boy is. I bet he's pretty techie. I think the risk of buying him a computer is he's going to say, oh, that's great. Oh, wow. That Celeron, that's nice of you, Dad. And then go and, oh, God, why? Right? So it might be nice to give him. What I do is get him 2 27-inch monitors and then a gift card to do the rest, something like that.
Okay.
And there are some good places to go if you want to look at parts. My favorite is PC Perspective, the website pcper.com. They have what they call their hardware leaderboard. They're testing hardware all the time. And their hardware leaderboard is they give you 4 price points: cheap, medium, high, very high priced systems, and what they would put in given what's available today. And it's such a great idea. They've got the Dream system, which is $3,280, the high-end system, which is $1,485, mid-range system, which is $859, and the low-end system, which is $508. That's a complete system. And they say what processor, what RAM, what motherboard, all of that. That at least give you an idea of what people are talking about. I think I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. Wait a minute or two. The chat room is going to give us a good bunch of suggestions of places they would recommend, right, chat room, for high-end computing, and we'll put them all in the show notes at Tech Guy Labs.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Leon.
Hey, I appreciate it. Congratulations. That's a good feeling.
Oh, thank you. Tell your mother I said hello.
Oh, yeah. Does she know you, Tom? Adam?
No, she doesn't, but I saw her on the screen yesterday.
She made a name for herself.
Yes.
Hey, thanks for the call, Adam. Somebody in the chat room saying, and we'll put this in the show notes too, that Lenovo has a 4-hour turnaround time professional support. And, if you pay extra for the support, you, of course, can get great, support where they come to you and fix it and all that. If you're willing to spend that money, that might be a good thing to do too.
Somebody's recommending Falcom Northwest. They've been around for a long time making high-end gaming systems. Doghouse Systems, we have some experience with them. They make great stuff. There's quite a few companies. What we're looking for, though, remember, folks, is high-end CAD class systems with good support, good phone support, good return support. That's what we're looking for. So we're going to get some good information, I think, from the chat room. We'll put that at our website, techguylabs.com. Ken, trucking in Wisconsin. Hi, Ken. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hello.
Hey, what's happening?
Well, my son is a geeky kind of kid, and he was telling me I like to watch my History Channel and all their stuff, but I can't get it in there. And I had cable. I let them go. It's getting too expensive, and I went with Dish. And he's telling me that a Sling box I have an Android Evo 4G that I can somehow use it in my truck, but
Yeah. So you got a great system at home, right? You're getting Dish and you whatever, you got your DVR, but you're on the road. How could you access this system via the internet? Slingbox is the answer, exactly. Your son is a smart boy, so you hook that up at home. It hooks up to your internet, but it also hooks up to your DVR, your satellite box. You could even hook up a DVD player and other stuff to it. And then you control it. You can watch it on your Android phone or your tablet or whatever. You download the Sling software, and you can control it. You can even say, I want to play back DVR recordings or create new ones, that kind of thing. Now, the quality of the video will vary depending on your internet. They have HD. It's all HDMI. They could theoretically send HD if you had enough bandwidth.
I have a HD thing at home, yes.
Yeah.
My question, so I have the box at home for Dish that have one receiver for 2 TVs. Now, when I access, does that limit my wife or my son to use the TV at home?
Not if you have 2 dual tuners.
Okay.
But you're absolutely right. If you have a single tuner, the Dish can only watch one show at a time, and you change the channel in the truck, it's going to change for them at home, and they're going to get mad.
That's what they were telling me. Yeah, you better be careful because always I'll be watching my wife watch a soap, and all of a sudden I change it. She said, I would not be very happy.
Actually, Dish has a deal with, you should call your Dish representative because they have a deal with Slingbox. They make Dish DVRs with Sling built in.
Oh.
Yeah. Now we're talking.
Yeah, really. So, yeah, I didn't know that. That's why he had mentioned it, and I'm like, because it's boring out on the road and I need something to do. And
that's probably how he knew about it. Because, yeah, now I don't know if your device that you already have does that. Maybe it does, but if not, you could call him and say, I want to trade in my device for the one that has the Sling box.
But it's not that hard. It's just a bunch of software
no.
I add to my Android
yeah,
phone.
You put there's a program. They're not inexpensive, the programs for the portable devices. They're like $10, $20. You put them on your phone. And then you can do that. I think the Hopper, if you get the Hopper from Dish, they have a Sling box built into it. You should ask them. I'm not sure which models. Dish owns Sling, so.
I appreciate that.
Hey, cool. Stay safe on the road. Thank you. Hey, Nathan, do I have a commercial or can I get another call in here?
We got another call.
Let's try to Mark in Carabel, Florida. Hi, Mark. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Leo?
Mark.
Oh, this is Rick.
Oh, it's Rick. I'm sorry. Hi, Rick.
Hey, Leo, thank you. Hey, it's because Dell's customer support is almost non-existent that I'm calling you with my question instead of them.
Isn't it sad? They used to be so good.
Well, I've had this Dell for 3 or 4 years, and it served me great, but now I'm upgrading to a newer machine, and I'd love to make the changeover as seamlessly as possible. Now, I'm a Carbonite customer, so I know all my data is backed up, and that'll restore. I know I have to reload all the programs, but my question is, which ones? Do I have to sit down with pad and paper and go through and try and find every program loaded on this Dell, or is there an app, is there a program that'll do that for me?
You mean you want to move all the apps that are currently on your computer to a different one?
Well, yeah, and I've got the original software, so I'm able to reinstall them. But my question is there a program that'll tell me what's installed?
I see. You want an inventory.
Right. There you go. Thank you.
You could just print your add remove programs list. I don't know. I'm sure there is. There used to be a lot of things that would do this, like the Belarc Advisor. I don't know if that's still is it still around? BELARC. Boy, that's a blast. Yeah, they're still around. Free personal PC audit. Wow.
Boy, that's I haven't talked about them probably in 10 years. BELARC.com, the Belarc Advisor. It's free. It does a profile of your installed software and hardware.
Okay. Well, that's probably what I need. I'm just dreading the fact that I'm going to think I've got everything installed on the new machine, and then I go to try and access a file that I've restored via Carbonite, and it says, oh, you didn't install this software.
Right. You need the app. That makes sense. Okay. I wouldn't run and install all the apps necessarily, because one of the advantages of building a new system is getting rid of the cruft that was on your old system. And a Jammin' Man in the chat room is reminding me that if you want to simply use the PC transfer wizard, that comes with Windows, you could just easy transfer everything over.
Okay, I'll try it.
Yeah, my results with that are mixed. Hey, thanks for the call. Thank you, everybody, for watching. TechGuyLabs.com. Did I say watching? It's radio, right? Listening. We'll see you next week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.